last time. It was a while ago.
It was.
You guys arrived in the river city of Sereno, and there you guys stepped off the ship. You decided to head over to the nearest inn, the Shoreline Inn. While you were there, Danny, you bought rooms and meals for your retinue.
That's right.
You guys inquired toward a horse and a cart, and you were directed to the general goods store up in the north bounds. There you met Armando, the elderly gentleman there, that showed you a couple of carts, showed you some horses, and two black Clydesdales and a brown mule with black stripes on him. You guys discussed with Armando about perhaps purchasing the animals. Armando decided he didn't really like any of them.
Is he an okapi instead of a donkey?
Well, I think he's part zebra because if he was a copy, I think he would be smaller and he would have like the giraffe little nubs.
That's true.
I'm still going for part zebra.
Okapi are fairly large, even.
Oh shit! Am I just thinking of them?
But, like,
probably at least littles.
Bigger than typical donkeys, but smaller than mules. And as far as you're aware, there are no weird head nubs on Calvin.
Yeah.
But Calvin seems to speak perfectly clear Sylvan. Calvin explained that he'd like to leave because the horses are idiots and he wants to go away.
Joke's on him.
He also notes that he isn't a polymorphed person. Yeah, so Danny,
What he knows of.
It's fair. Danny bought Calvin. And you guys got a large cart, like it's a 6-wheel cart, 10 foot by 5 foot ish. It's covered. Armando taught you guys how to kind of saddle everything up and tether the horses and such things. And Azalea ended up buying the 2 nameless horses. Armando just didn't care enough to name them, you suppose. You guys went back to the inn. You got supper. Cyra, you are fairly convinced that Danny. Well, no, you kind of figured out that you don't know what the hell's going on most of the time, and you're very well questioning your entire existence due to Danny's ability to gaslight you. And a lot of other things. Cyra, you went up to bed while the rest went to go relax, and the other person there, Kalaria, Tor recognized her as a cleric of Vrishaug, and also as something called an Aphorite. And Kalaria ended up recognizing Tor, and there was a emotional reunion that Tor was mostly confused by the whole thing. You other two were just kind of sitting there watching, because of course. But she asked him to accompany her to Actipoli, where bless you, there was a psychopomp there that appeared, promptly climbed out of a beer tankard, rolled over the edge and into the water, just to make sure that, I don't know, something had happened. Let's see, you all went to bed. Tor wrote a note for you, Cyra, with some dandelions, and he said, "I'm sorry." Tor and Danny, you guys went out fishing in the morning. Cyra, you were extremely confused by the note until Tor accepted the fact that it was his. He apologized for past aggressions. Not transgressions, aggressions. Yes, so Cyra, after realizing that Tor was leaving, Cyra stepped outside to kind of regain her composure. Really? Are you fucking serious? Oh my god.
Listen, when you have first sip of coffee, things happen. This is my first sip.
Day one of three players is
yeah, already off to a great fucking start. No, it's fine. We're just gonna continue with this without her. That's just how it is.
Yep. She can hear. You're in the same house.
Yeah.
Talk louder.
And so Cyra ended up walking in circles outside, trying to figure out what your life is, and was immediately captured by some strange creature, and almost crushed to death as you cried out for help. You were able to message the others who stepped out, and were able to subdue the creature, but not before Azalea went down to dying one. And And it called all of you thieves, all of you in your heads. It was very weird. And then it exploded, which was unpleasant. And then other corpses through the city also began to explode. There were 15 to 20 explosions just down the road, kind of leading eastward. And the owners of the inn there, essentially told you guys that they called them spore assassins, and that they had killed whoever controlled the original spawn pit, or the creator, maybe. At least they thought they had. And well, they kind of ran off now to you go help out and see what they could do. The only real information that they gave you is that those creatures use fire, even though they're kind of like weird plant fungus monsters. Let's see. Yeah, they noted that they killed the one who controlled it, but couldn't find like the source of where they were like made or grown or born. Who knows, really? And then at this point, as the city's kind of going crazy, and Brine Grinder appeared and took Tor and Kalaria away, because Kalaria had happened to work with Brine Grinder to get back eastward. And then you guys asked about some silks that Captain Brine Grinder had on his ship and that he was selling to people. Most notably because Danny found some silks that had come out of a box, and he put them away and hoped they weren't damaged. But he said that he sold some silks to the Scola Medicinae, which is a school, and then to a place called the Font of Magic, some sort of store, presumably about magical items. And then a place.
They were the ones that sent the assassins. That would be hilarious.
And then the Ares. The Ares being the 6 towers where they seem to breed griffins. And he also noted that he delivered some iron. He's heading back down river with seeds and potions from the Scola. At that point, Tor said his goodbyes, and Kalaria assured everybody that this wasn't the last that you'd see of Torrigal. So, at this point, you guys are kind of left standing on the street as the silence kind of again.
This was referred to as left with the bags to hold.
Yes, you've been left with the bags to hold, and the silence seems to last forever, really, but it's only a moment. As the silence is then shattered by shrill screams of people realizing what has happened, echoing through the streets as these 15, 20 explosions were presumably like this creature blowing up in the middle of the street. And now people are beginning to respond, and you can hear wing beats and the shouts of guards as griffins kind of come down from the areas. All guardsmen trying to respond to what is happening here. Sonia and her wife have headed east, kind of toward where the other explosions were. Tor has departed, and they're no longer in sight. And just to say again, only Azalea and Danny had seen the strange kind of reunion between the two. And at this point, as the streets are starting to fill with random kind of bystanders of people responding and seeing what's going on, let's see. Does anybody? 3. Okay. So Azalea, you spot a griffin above you, circling down towards you. While Cyra and Danny, you guys are more or less focused on seeing if there's any more danger, and there's no immediate danger to you as far as you can tell. But yeah, Azalea, you spot a griffin that's coming down pretty much on your position.
Well, and then I'm gonna go inside.
Are you gonna say anything about the griffin?
Nope.
It's a good start.
Right.
I'm just gonna turn to Danny. Are you gonna leave too?
Do I see the griffins?
No, you don't. I mean, you see like griffins in general, but like you don't see the one that's coming down like pretty much on top of you. You don't. Neither you or Cyra see it.
We probably ought to move. I say we just go inside.
But you're not leaving me.
Oh, I mean, you can come with me.
Okay.
Yeah, and as Azalea, the doors close. The doors kind of close behind you, and Danny and Cyra, you guys make the decision to head inside, or at least Danny seems to make the decision to head inside. Yeah, there's all of a sudden this big gust of wind as these dust and leaves and flower petals kind of blasts over you as this massive griffin lands between you and the door. Now, mind you, there's still kind of a big pile of ash that kind of gets blown away from this creature that had kind of burned and exploded. You see this big griffin, very like brown feathers and white feathered head and big bright golden eyes, maybe half the size of Cyra's head. Very pristine fur and feathers. Very simple brown saddle, but it's a red and white like saddle blanket underneath it. And atop this griffin, there appears to be it's an armored figure. You can't really tell if it's a man or a woman, but wearing this big, heavy silver helmet, kind of with this red and white like horse mane, horse hair like coming off the back of the helmet. Very gleaming silver plate mail. He's wearing a tabard over it, displaying the flag of Umbaria. And he's got a very heavy lance in a short sword. And the Umbaria flag, if you're curious, it's a brown griffin with a white head. It's facing to the left, and that's on a red shield. And the red shield has a golden crown on top of it, and it's a white background. So he's kind of wearing a tabard over his plate mail that's showing that flag. So he seems to be some sort of guardsman. And you hear, "Halt! What happened here?"
There was a thing. There was a thing they called a spore assassin, and I walked outside, and it attacked me.
Danny, what are you doing?
It actually tried to eat me.
I'm gonna turn like 90 degrees away from him and just like walk down the street. Start to walk down the street like he's not talking to me. Like I'm just some guy.
Yeah, he doesn't even have to make any observable movements. But the griffin quickly steps in your way, and he's still focused on Cyra because she's the one who answered him. But the griffin is very much focused on you. What is your? I need you to make a will save. Yeah, a will save. I think that's how that works.
Ooh, cool. 26.
Yeah,
Love that.
So you realize that this creature could probably eat you if it wanted, but you realize that it's very well trained and it probably just won't. So you're not necessarily intimidated by the creature into stopping, but you realize it's probably a little bit faster than you are.
That's fair. I'll just stop.
And it tried to eat you, you say. Well, what happened? There was explosions. Obviously, you seem to be alive. How did you kill it?
I got out, and we fought it together. And when it died, it exploded, and then there were the other explosions. Apparently, that's what this thing does. It's the first time I've ever seen it. But the ladies that work here, they told us that. Sonia and... Do I know her wife's name?
You never got her wife's name.
I didn't think so. Yeah, I was like, Sonia and her wife. Her very lovely wife.
Very well. Was it just the one, or were there more?
Oh, I hope there's only one.
Very well. Get inside. Stay safe. Goblin, you there? What did you see?
Yeah, everything she said, it was really bad. The security in this city, I mean, I'm sure you're very good at your job, but it has me a little concerned. We're travelers in day one, and I'm getting attacked by fungus. That's not your fault, I'm sure. But yeah, everything she said's true.
Roll a diplomacy check.
Man, I really need to work on my diplomacy.
This is kind of fun.
4.
And he just kind of, you can see through his helm that he's, as he kind of turns, it's he's got like a salt and pepper goatee. He seems to be a human man. He says, "Well, traveler, where did you come from, and where are you going?"
I'm gonna like walk over and kick him and just turn to. He's very rude and likes to blame other people for things.
Anyway, yeah, we came from like we were on a boat. We don't know where we're going. We're just trying to like find stuff. I don't know. I'm really uncomfortable. I'm so sorry.
He just kind of looks between the two of you. There's a slight mild annoyance. And,
He does this.
and then he just kind of nods and just says, "Stay safe." He takes off.
I'm gonna physically grab him.
Flies
and
Go ahead.
why do you have to pick fights with all the guards? We're
Why are
very
you the
small.
way that you are?
We are very small.
I
And
wasn't
there are
picking a
probably
fight. I was being evasive.
No, it was a thinly
also-
veiled insult. It was
you
a
also
thinly veiled insult. You
Well,
know
you told
it was.
him you were ready to tell him our life story. I don't know this guy yet.
I don't have a
know.
life. There's no story.
We should go inside.
Are you gonna stop picking fights with people?
I'm not picking. Yes. Yep.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna stop
Thank you.
picking
Very
fights.
kind. Okay. I'm gonna go inside.
Yeah, you guys head inside. Azalea, what are you doing inside?
Just trying not to be seen by a griffin. That's all.
Yeah, well, you managed to make it inside, but you're fairly certain that they probably spotted you before you went inside, because
Oh, yeah.
they were already coming down. So,
Oh yeah.
but you were able
They're
to.
not bothering to come in and interrogate me. Whatever. It's
Yeah.
all good.
Yep. So yeah, you're all three of you end up inside, and it's an empty inn. There's nobody in here anymore. Seems that if there are anybody, they're probably hiding in their rooms, or like I said, the owners have kind of gone off to see what they can do to help. Sonia and Honey, the giant Wolverine. Let's see. Is there anything you guys want to do?
Be comforted.
What time of the day is it now? Are we early
It's like morning. It's
Morning.
like you guys had just finished breakfast when this fight started.
Well,
I think that's enough for today.
let's have a morning alcohol and talk about maybe what we should be doing, what Tor left,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
now?
He left us. What are we gonna? Azalea, you have the instructions, right? The
That's
letter.
vague.
Yes, you
Oh,
do.
yeah.
The letter. The
Yeah.
letter.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I remember that.
The poison for Cusco. The poison designed specifically for Cusco. Cusco's poison. Well, do we need to do anything in Sereno, or can we just pack up and go? This has been unpleasant.
Yeah.
It's still early. We could
Well-
go ahead and just start going.
Like, do we even want to get where we're going at this point? Like,
Well, yeah. Are we waiting for Tor to come back, and just hanging out for a bit? Because how's
He
he gonna
left
know
us.
where we? Yeah, but how's he gonna know where we are?
You think he's coming back?
it's
I
not a
mean,
matter of
Probably. Do you have like abandonment issues or something? Because
Okay. Sorry. You don't get to talk to other people about their issues.
hey,
I'm gonna go behind the bar and just pour myself a drink.
I was about to say, Sonia, is that the bartender? Is it
She's not here.
not here.
Yeah, they
She's not
I
here.
left.
Sonia and
Okay.
her wife have gone
Honey,
to
come on
help
Mm. Yeah.
whatever's going on in the city.
pour me one too.
Well, since you asked so nicely.
Thank you.
I'll get him one.
Yeah. So as Azalea, you head behind the bar and you grab some tankards off the wall, and you just kind of go to the nearest cask and just kind of open it and just let it fill up, and then you do a nice.
Yep.
Then you pass it over to Danny. You do one for yourself. Are you gonna pour one for Cyra?
Yeah, but I'm gonna do the cool like bartender slide.
Make a acrobatics check. I guess I don't.
Performance?
Sure. Yeah, you could do a performance if you wanted.
That seems solid.
Yeah, that's
Well,
fair.
I mean,
Yeah.
my acrobatics is definitely better.
But do the performance. Yeah,
Better.
performance is right. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Ooh, 16 plus 9, 25.
Yeah, easily. You pour it is like it's the perfect amount of slide, the perfect amount of head on the ale. It's like it's beautiful. It's just there's like nothing wasted. There's no spillage. There's no nothing. And you slide them both over to Danny and Cyra. And as Azalea is kind of more focused on pouring these ales, you also see something that you haven't seen, especially from when you were in Karthos, being a guild-controlled city. There were no like quest boards in any of the taverns because you had to go straight through the Adventurers Guild. But here there's actually a quest board that you hadn't really noticed in your kind of exhaustion from your journey prior to it. But behind the bar, there is in fact a quest board there. If you wanted to, maybe look at it or take it down. If not, whatever. But you at least see it.
Who sees it?
Danny and Cyra, not you, because you're busy.
Okay.
Doing
She was
things.
the only one that saw it, and I was like, "Is she gonna say anything?"
No. It was
She doesn't.
Danny and Cyra saw
I'm
it.
gonna go, well, then go to bed.
Yeah.
9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
So I don't think whether we move on to Shariba Tisa is really a question of when Tor gets back. It's a fact of like we're missing our muscle. You got 2 tiny people and sticky hands over there. So or stabby hands really.
Could be both. That's okay.
Maybe we should think about our lives and try to make enough money to hire some muscle or something.
He's got a point.
Yeah,
Or maybe
definitely
we'll-
gonna need more money to do that. I don't have nearly enough to do that.
Or we could just find allies.
I'm pretty
so we
sure
don't
you're
have to pay
lying.
them.
I would like you to make a. It's a deception check.
And I gotta make a deception check. I don't. How much does it cost to hire muscle? I don't know how much.
Yeah,
it
you
costs.
don't know. Make a deception check.
Shit. 16 total.
Yeah. Let's see. What is everybody's?
But we don't even know if I'm lying yet.
Do you think you're lying?
I
Are
don't
you trying
know.
to deceive us?
No, because
You're-
in from my experience with the marauders or whatever they're called, forest sprites. Anyway, they're really a lot of money. I don't have like mansion money, so yeah. To what I'm used to, I don't have nearly enough.
Yeah.
It's all about
see.
perspective.
Only have to use the C as attempt perception checks against your deception DC. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Thinking of taking that.
Yeah. So actually, it would be Cyra and Danny would get to do perception checks against whatever your deception DC is there, Azalea.
I'll roll it.
What's my deception DC? Is it like the rogue
Plus 10.
DC?
No, it's 10 plus whatever your deception skill
I rolled
is.
I'm a 19.
So what's your deception skill there, Azalea?
It would be 21 to beat. So.
Okay.
I
Danny.
did not beat.
I
Okay.
was gonna say.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, you guys are fairly well informed that she is not very well off.
We don't have to hire someone. We can make friends. Maybe are there any power players in the city who are the large groups? I mean,
You're
we
gonna
know
make
of this-
friends.
Of course, I'm gonna make friends. I mean, certain kind of friends. Maybe not the kind of friends you like, but the School of Medicina, Font of Magic. I definitely don't want to hang out with the Griffin people at the Ares or whatever those guys are. Wound tight.
Not a fan of cops.
Well, not really. As long as they're not talking to me.
Fair enough.
Oh God, I don't know. This is a pretty small town, but I think Sharif is bigger. We might have better luck there. Hell, maybe the person we're meeting will help us.
Mm. So I'm stuck between Clover and Daisy, or Cashew and Noodle.
How about Noodle and Dumpling?
No. Cashew and Noodle.
Why?
I don't know.
That's fair. I vote Cashew and Noodle.
Okay.
But I'm gonna call one of them Dumpling, and you can't stop me.
Correct.
Danny, I have no idea what's going on. I'm just going to kind of start to ponder. Am I having a stroke? What,
Do you smell toast?
what's happening right now?
I'm gonna call Cashew.
Danny, as a matter of fact, you are smelling burning toast. But so are the rest of you. You realize that they were making breakfast when they were like when they went out to help people. So there's a kitchen, and you see this like kind of a little bit of smoke starting to come out of some toast that they were presumably toasting that is now burning.
As I run in, is it on fire?
It's just like kind of a char kind of mess.
Okay, I'm just gonna. Can I figure out how to turn the heat off?
I'm just gonna grab it while she's doing that. Like, just pull it out of the heat.
It's like it's on like a griddle.
Straight up. Just grab
Is it like a gas?
No,
Is
it's
that
just
thing
it's
that has
just
gas
like
fire?
it's just fire.
Okay, I'll just remove it from the heat.
So Danny, like, you go to like try to figure out how to shut the stove up, and Danny just goes over and just fucking like yanks it off the heat. It like crumbles in your hands, and it's hot.
Ooh.
But it doesn't thankfully like burn you enough to cause you damage.
Do I see anything else that looks like it's actively cooking?
Thankfully, it looks like most of it was being prepared, other than the
Okay.
toast. So it looks like the whole place isn't going to burn down, at least. So.
Damn it! Now I want toast. I don't even have bread.
But yes. So yes, you were able to take the toast off the griddle.
Success.
The charcoal off the griddle.
Okay. So kitchen looks safe. Okay, back to meeting time. Anything else like?
I mean,
everything else is just being prepared.
Everything else is being
Okay.
prepped, and you both go back out, and Azalea, you're just kind of sipping on your ale, and like I said, Cyra and Danny, you see there's the quest board, and then there's like literally nothing else of interest in this building anymore. Like the owners have yet to return. You guys are still chatting. You have your ales, of course.
Maybe someone's. Let's look at the quest board. Maybe someone's offering their services. Do people do that? Can you do a looking for work instead of looking for workers?
Yeah, you
Like
could do that.
classifieds?
Cyra, you've known that to happen. But you see 3 strips of parchment on the on
Can
the
I
quest
reach
board.
them?
You're gonna have to climb onto a counter.
Azalea, will you pick me up so I can grab these?
I could just grab them.
But I saw them first.
All right.
Pick me up.
Yeah.
Yes.
She grabs you underneath in the armpits. She picks you up. You're not very heavy.
Do
Like
I take
someone
them
who's
off
never
the board?
interacted with a child and doesn't know how to how do I do this?
Can I? Do I take them off the board, or should I just read them while they're there? Are they tacked on?
They're tacked on. You can untack them.
Okay, I'm gonna untack them. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to read them to you because they're
Okay.
I'm gonna drop you like a cat, though.
No, you have to set me down like a dog.
Yeah, you
Oh, okay.
you kind of thump to the ground there. Danny, you just kind of watching this. But yeah, so I'm gonna read these to you because
Yes.
they're written in like really shitty common. Like clearly some maybe less educated people wrote these. But it just says the first one just says goat farmer on outskirts of town finds half-eaten goats on farm. Fence keeps getting destroyed.
Chupacabra. Move on.
A reward of 5 gold pieces to stop problem.
Too small.
Um,
Next.
Wheat farmer needs help with harvest. Strange fungus on edge of property. Seems to be eating field. 10 gold.
Do we have anything to deal with a fungus?
So we just
I'm worried it's like this other fungus. Maybe I'm crazy.
you could just go there and like burn it.
I'm guessing
So
you
good.
tried that. Whatever. I don't have anything for that. All right, next.
Harvested material needs to be delivered to the Scola Medicinae as unable to deliver due to injury. 10 gold.
I bet they're the ones that are breaking down the fence and half eating the goats, and that's how they got the injury.
That's one way to put it.
They are.
But then wouldn't the problem have fixed itself by now?
Well,
His
maybe it's
friend.
old.
He has a friend who is also eating the goats.
There you
Team
go.
effort.
Is that all three of them?
Yeah, it's all three of them. They're fairly
Oh.
minor.
You could probably split the party and each do one.
There's not options for anybody offering services or anything like that.
I mean, the only reason I think we should do any of these is to like get info from the farmers themselves if we want to stay here and try to make some money and explore and do things. But if not, we should either I think we should try to go direct to like the School of Medicina or just move on to Sharith Abtisa. But I'm worried about being a goblin and going to a place like that right now.
Are you
the
worried
one
you're
eating
not?
the goats?
Are you saying you're not going to be a goblin if we go later?
I'm saying if we go later, maybe we'll have more protection or another way to get there. I don't
buy like some really good foundation and like makeup setter, and we'll just make you look like a really ugly small human.
Well, listen, I can practice spells on the way and maybe get you a good disguise spell. Make you look like some other small thing.
I mean, I have three shrinking potions. You can just drink it, and you can put me in a box or something. I don't.
We could put you in your bag of holding.
You could look action figure.
Yeah.
like a monstrous toy. I don't know. I think we can get there. You're the Heidi type, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I could get there. I just it's concerning. Who are we trying to meet there again?
Azalea's got the name. I actually also have the name.
Azalea does have the name.
The name is Chak Chak Pularka.
Yes, Chak Chak Pularka. She's allegedly a cleric.
Wait. Huh.
And we're meeting
Not
her
a druid?
That's what I meant. I don't know why I said cleric. Because she's in the... Anyway, it's fine. Anyway, continue.
We're meeting her to find out how to go to hell better? I forget. I'm trying to remember exactly. Yeah.
She'll guide you in the difficult times ahead of you. Then we give her the ciphered letter. Which hopefully doesn't tell her to kill us and everything. Probably not, though. That's a lot of work to murder 4 people. Now 3 people.
Yeah.
This place seems kind of fungusy. I don't like that. Those things, if we run into those again, they will kill us. We need somebody like Tor to get us through that. So, I don't know. I'm not getting a great feel from this town. What about you?
I say move on. I think our odds of finding someone to help us are going to be better in a bigger city, especially because we're going to have connections there. This Chak Chak Pularka might know someone.
I was gonna say we could always go to the school, talk to her, and then move on. Is that the idea?
Did you say the school?
Isn't that where she's at? The school, yeah.
She's at a tower.
Yeah.
Find her amongst the tower's greenhouses.
Yeah, she's in Sharith Abtisa. She's not here. Scola Medicina is a separate place here in Cyra. Yeah.
It's where all the silks went.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we trying to go there then? Didn't you steal from them?
No.
No?
Oh, that's right. We don't know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Didn't you
my bad.
silks back? And nothing happened?
But didn't you show us the mirror? No, you showed us the mirror so we could see if it was magical. We know he has a mirror.
Okay.
I was trying to give it back to somebody, and we got busy, and just things happened, and here it is. So.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I'm gonna go ahead and take the mirror out, and just kind of put it on the table and show Cyra and Azalea. So this is the mirror. Look, it's got all these rubies, it's really pretty. And then flip it over, and Look
It's
in the
definitely
mirror.
magic.
What does it do?
I don't know. Can I roll another check?
You could try to do an Arcana check, sure.
Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. 26.
Let me just make sure.
Yeah.
Item. I want to make sure that I'm actually doing this properly. No. You can spend 10 minutes to try to identify the particulars of its magic. Okay. What is my internet doing today? It is on the struggle bus. That's fine. So you're attempting to identify. It's going to take you like 10 minutes to really look at it. So while you're looking at it, you guys can do other things. What I'm also going to take the time to look this up because
Let me know what a
What the
26
fuck?
will do.
yeah, because I don't know. Maybe my phone will be faster for some reason. It is much
Yeah.
faster. I don't know why, but yes. Continue.
Continue. So I vote we move on to Sharif.
How
It's
far
still
away
early.
is it again?
That's
Is it like a couple?
that's a great question.
A couple weeks travel?
So for you guys, it's actually not that far. By cart, you can expect maybe 25 miles a day, and it's just about 100-ish miles. It's a little
No.
bit further.
Not bad at all.
It's going to be like 4 or 5 days. That's about it. As long as you stay to the highway. The old Imperial Highway should get you there pretty quick.
Yeah, but weren't we trying to avoid the highway because we've got like?
Could we just? You and I are good to travel. We could just hide him.
True.
We don't have to. But
Yeah,
I think.
but is it a good idea to be traveling without the muscle? Because I feel like it's also risky.
I mean, the Imperial Highway should be safe. As safe as any
You got
place is
attacked
gonna
by
be.
a fungus walking outside. Like,
Okay, that
I
was
mean, do you really
targeted,
wanna
and
argue
nope,
that?
nope. That was targeted. That
We
could have
don't know
happened
that
literally
for sure.
any. Really? The four of us get messages in our heads calling us thieves, and we have stolen things, although they were from bad people. I think it was targeted.
It's all circumstantial evidence.
This isn't a court of law. This is just us running numbers.
Fair enough.
I think that one could have happened literally anywhere.
Mm.
I don't know. I kind of think I'd rather face it on a road instead of like on the Imperial Highway where someone might come along and help us, instead of like backwoods where we could like face this thing and like a bear or wolves, or actually that's not forest. Never mind. Ignore that.
What do I know about Sharif?
Oh, make a society or a religion check.
Society for days.
That's fair. That's fair.
Same. It's a +1 versus a +9.
32.
Whoa. Okay. Let me find my notes here to make sure I give you the right things. Okay. So, Sharif is a very old city. Some would argue that it predates the dragons, which is extremely old, many thousands of years old. There are a couple of cities that can kind of make that claim. Mostly like Karthos and Acatheon can kind of lay claim to that. And Sharif is one of those that originally was a center of learning. And it was generally a neutral city kind of throughout most of its history. But going all the way back into the first era, just from the scraps you've read and things that you've found while on your kind of journeys, that Sharif was tried to broker a deal between Acatheon and the Karthos Confederacy during that war, to try to save scrolls, to save learning from the city of Necroi before it got razed to the ground. Now, General Horus, a guy of Acatheon upbringing, agreed to a short truce so that Sharif could go in and kind of save the libraries of that city, except the 200-man envoy, essentially, ended up being massacred. The people of Karthos, or Karthus at the time, had essentially killed all of these men under truce, and so Sharith ended up joining the war on the side of Acatheon and pretty much ended the Confederacy there. But there is some learning that you had done while under the Temple of Strenger, the library there, and you realize that General Horus had actually messed with the memories of the last remaining man, and it was actually the men of Acatheon that slaughtered the envoys. So essentially, doing some espionage sort of thing, and forced one city-state to join the war on the wrong side, quote unquote. And then let's see. After they figured that out, Sharith willingly joined the Witches' Coven in the Second Era, mostly for survival, but also to get revenge on Acatheon. Let's see. Yes, and then toward the end of that war, because they had joined the enemy of the new empire, the tyrant scholar that led that city, a guy by the name of Publius Marius Rex, insulted the Council of Worms of Draconia, in which case they just razed the city to the ground. So there's a little bit of the whole destroying cities thing. They kind of dish it out and get it back sort of deal. But yeah, it's taken the last 1,500 to 2,000 years to really get back to its former glory, and now the city is now a religious center to Svas, and a temple to Svas was very recently built in the last 20 years, and the abbess there kind of worked up the fervor of the people until she declared a holy state in that city. Now, the more kind of less history part, and the more kind of what you would really pick up on, is that the city is mostly human and Tengu. There's a couple of other races in there, but it's a pretty big city. It's roughly 46,000 people, rife with ancient ruins, things being destroyed and all that. Let's see. Yep, the Inquisition. That's a thing you know about. The thing that you don't want to go there for, because they will maybe not necessarily kill you, but there's a good chance.
Are they based there?
They are based there, yes. That is the center of the Inquisition. It's headquartered in the main temple, in the tower. Let's see. The main exports for that city are religious items, weirdly enough, and frankincense, which they grow in greenhouses around the city.
And I brought you myrrh.
But other than that, you realize, just from what things you've heard, is that it's the people that live there love living there. But that's probably because they killed off or removed all of the people that they didn't like. So, you can take that how you will. But other than that, you having not been there, this is like the furthest west you've ever been. So you're not really sure of what it's kind of like on the ground, as it were. Just things you've read and rumors you've heard from Karthos. But rolling like a 30-something will give you all of this data.
Heck yeah, makes sense. I read lots of books.
That's right.
Lots of books.
Yep.
You're a very smart man.
Mostly.
Mostly.
Okay. So that's what we know about, or what I know about Sharith.
Uh-huh.
How aggressive and terrified of the Inquisition am I, or should I be, do you think?
So you, just from what you've heard in Karthos and whatnot, you've heard some pretty brutal things of what they do to monstrous races, especially those created by Eflair, or ones they deem just different. Anywhere from lynchings to torture. There's a lot of stakes and burning. Yeah, you should probably be pretty terrified. You know that you need to go there for whatever this quest is, but yeah, it would probably be best for you to stay hidden or disguised in some sort of way, or at least get some maybe official protection from somebody.
So, on the topic of going to Sharith, go ahead. What were you gonna say, Sarah?
I was gonna say, does the Adventurers Guild? It's big across borders, right?
Yep. You do know that.
Is there anyone who would have a quest? Is there an official? Do you think there's an adventurers guild meeting location here? Could we accept a quest into Sharif of Tisa? You would be under the guild's protection.
Yeah, that's one way to maybe do it, but then we actually have to do whatever they say, right? Or else it's kind of moot.
No, I mean, we just have to look like we're doing it. We're pretty good at that.
Well, I remember when you did a quest that we weren't supposed to do, and
we did a great job. We did it under false pretenses, and that was the only problem. We did a great job. We were so good.
What if we visit the School of Medicina here?
I bet they're close. Yeah, we'll visit the school. We'll see if we can find the guild. And if they don't have anything, they don't have anything.
Yeah, maybe the school's got a reason for us to go in there. And regardless, I could probably buy some fancy clothes and I don't know, a freaking gilded mask or something and act like I'm a rich person from somewhere.
I'll do some research and see what kind of maybe spells possibilities I can do. I'm so sorry. I should have thought of this before and totally didn't.
It's okay. This is what we're here for.
Yeah.
I mean, I can change my form with alchemy, but it only lasts just a little bit.
Yeah, no, I bet I'll have to get creative, but I bet I can come up with something that will last longer than that.
Yeah, 10 minutes is what I got.
That's not very long. Hopefully I've got some that'll last longer. You can't see my
just
waving
make
hand.
a lot of potions,
Can you stockpile them? Or do they only...
Depends on how I make them. Right?
That's fair.
So,
that's fair.
I can make 22 potions that'll last me all day. So that's 210 minutes. So I could stay. I mean, that's a lot of. I think I'd get sick and throw up. That's a lot of potion. But I could drink it all.
just say you're like an alcoholic and it's like a flask. Good.
That would work.
All right, what do I have?
I mean, you're like halfway there now, right?
Yeah, I guess. Probably. It is still morning and I'm drinking.
That's the only way to drink all day. You gotta start in the morning.
Yeah, I gotta get day drunk.
Yeah. What do I have? I know I have something. I even looked at it and was like, that might be too specific.
You know what we could do?
Huh.
We could go be pirates or something. Do something fun.
Yeah.
We could sign on with a boat crew and go to the Sea of Eketh and just forget about all this.
I just feel like if we ignore this problem, it's gonna be bad for us too. That's my thing. I don't feel any moral compulsion to sacrifice my life for people I don't know. I just am very fearful that if we don't take care of this, things will get bad for everyone,
Tor is kind of ignoring
us.
the problem too.
Pardon?
So Tor is kind of ignoring the problem too.
That's right. I don't. We're going. It's fine. He's dead to us. So we just need to figure out how we're going to move forward.
We could, hear me out, take over the city of Sereno, and then ride our own griffins straight to Sharif. We could do that too.
Is this before or after we acquire more muscle?
Before.
I figured as we work our way to the top of Sereno, we will have muscle.
So we got to do all these quests, ingratiate ourselves within the people, and a grassroots movement will become the overlords. We can just take them on.
Do you feel like any of us have the presence to do that?
Is anyone listening to this conversation? I'm gonna take a look around the room.
There's nobody here.
Okay.
Why should I say that? I don't think anybody's here. I'm convinced no one is here. I should have been more.
So, Danny and Cyra, you guys don't see anybody.
That's so suspicious.
Azalea, there are windows out to the kind of the back porch, and there's a raven sitting on the windowsill, just kind of Head tipped to the side, just like hanging out, just watching.
Idiots. How do I?
On second thought, maybe we should do none of that, and then I'm gonna close the window.
So like, as you say that, it's and Danny and Cyra, you don't really pick up on why she's maybe saying it that way. You pick up the tone of voice, but as you say that, you just the raven kind of like turns and like goes to fly away. And Azalea, you go to the door and there's the window rather. There's shutters, and you kind of like pull the shutters in. Make a perception check for me.
Oh no. What's my modifier? 29.
Yeah, and as you kind of go to close the shutters, you don't see the raven at all. It's like gone. Now you kind of before you really close it, you kind of look to the left, look to the right, and it's like just gone. And you kind of close the other shutters and kind of close the place up.
I'm just gonna be like muttering to myself, this is why I travel under a false name.
Do we hear her say that?
No, you
Okay.
guys definitely do not.
All right.
But yeah.
So,
I'm just gonna start cleaning like some of my weapons. Gotta go bird hunting.
So
but what if it's just the fucker bird?
We like the fuck bird.
Did you point out the bird?
No.
Then you don't know. There's.
So
Go ahead.
So while I understand wanting to go to Sharif because it's a bigger city, but the Inquisition's there, I'd rather stay here or even go back to Feltharia if we need to, or we could try some other place. Just try to get some assistance and power really before we try to move into a place like that, because I'm just gonna get arrested and thrown into a meat grinder and be done with it if I go now. I feel.
Do you think Tor can stop an Inquisition?
No, but at least he's big. He could distract him long enough for me to get under a bush. You couldn't distract anything. You're like a very small person.
I'm great
And
at distracting.
Azalea's
I am great at distracting.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
performance
the thing.
is what I do. I can distract.
Well, you will get eaten real quick. Tor. would
I
take
am not
a minute.
monstrous. They can't
You're
just
not
eat me.
monstrous, but well, okay. Well, that's fair.
They can't just eat me. That's illegal.
I'm just saying we could ingratiate ourselves with some powerful folks somewhere before we get to Sharith, or we could just try to go to Sharith. I'm not very confident that we can get any ground against the Inquisition there, though.
Okay, so this is just Courtney to Dragon. Are you trying to? I don't think Rad is going to be back before we can leave. Are you trying to
No.
stall?
No. I'm not trying to stall for Rad to get back. I'm legitimately stalling to have either some sort of support or power or
Yeah.
association with some sort of organization before we go, whether it's the Adventures Guild.
Okay, cool. If that was your aim, I didn't want to push it. I was like,
No,
I just want to make sure we're at least we as the players are at least all on the same page.
Sir, it is
Yeah,
going to be
no,
like
right.
6 months.
I was
but
like,
no,
we can't hang out here until he gets back.
No, we're not staying in Toronto for 6 months.
Okay, just making sure. Just making
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We shall.
Plus, we could get ourselves some really cool like griffins and stuff. Maybe, I don't know. What do you want to do, Azalea?
Smart, and you just say the weirdest things.
That's because I'm smart. Yeah,
I don't believe you.
that's fair. Hey, do we all three speak a language? Do we all share
Common.
a language? Well, besides common.
Sorry, that was rude.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do we all speak Elven?
No. I got
Oh.
Sylvan.
We both have
No.
Sylvan.
No.
Oh, this is. I mean that's good. It means that we have a wider spread.
Well, I was saying we could all like talk in a language. Hopefully, maybe people here don't understand.
I've got Abyssal, Common, Draconic, Elven, Infernal, and Sylvan.
Me and you share Sylvan. What do you speak?
Me and Azalea spell share Elven. She speaks Common
Well,
and Elven.
it's Common Elven, and then I get extra for my intelligence modifier, right?
You haven't chosen languages yet.
Well, yeah, but no, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like I'm not. I'm
Yes.
I'm confirming I'm not missing it.
Yes, correct.
It's Common Elven given, and then plus my modifier, which is 0. So I know Common and Elven.
Okay.
I love that we went through that for 0.
We came full circle. Sweet.
We all learned something today.
I'm just getting into my character. Like, that's exactly what a
Is
0
Elven-
intelligence would do.
How similar is Elven and Sylvan?
They're
Not similar?
they're similar enough in that they how do I
Sound
put this?
alike, but are not mutually intelligible.
Yeah, it's kind of like how
Spanish and Italian.
no,
Right.
because you can kind of pick out Spanish and Italian,
Yeah.
but like it's kind of like how Romanian is technically a Romance language, but like Romanian and French are like nothing at all the same. So like
Okay.
they're technically in the same family, but like maybe you have a loan word one way or the other, but yeah, otherwise there's no overlap.
French and Spanish. I'm just gonna keep saying things that I know are vaguely similar.
Yes, you're gonna continue to say Romance languages. Okay, got it.
Yes, I got you. I'm here for you.
How big is Sereno?
Population wise, Sereno. Oh boy, I gotta find some stuff. We are over here. Come back.
Like I've been thinking about this as kind of a big town or small city. Is that fair?
It's like a small city. There's about 47,000-ish people that live here. Like,
Okay.
it's actually technically bigger than Sharif is.
I was about to say it's bigger than Charisse.
Yeah, but like it's a very spread out city. It's not built vertically. It's very like long and wide. It's a lot. They value the kind of the open air for the griffins really, and for all of the plants and things. This is called the City of Flowers for a reason. But yeah, you would expect Sharif to be a lot more dense.
That's not so bad. I kind of like spread out, I guess. Well, what do we want to put it to a vote? What do we want to do? Stay here or get on the road?
Yeah, so Clover and Daisy, or
Wow.
Cashew and Noodle.
Cashew and Noodle.
Clover
Well, I
and
got
Daisy.
I
your
voted.
input already.
Are
All
these
right,
horse
there.
names or is this food?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, horse names.
it could be whatever you want to be.
Clover and
If you
Daisy.
eat-
Wow.
Wow, we're split. I don't like this. Ah, damn it, Tor. All right.
Clover and Noodle.
Oh,
Noodle and
maybe.
Daisy?
Noodle
Maybe
and Daisy.
Clover and Noodle. Okay, Clover and Noodle.
All right, we got the important part done. Now,
Good.
Okay.
Okay, so we did just buy these horses to get on the road. What are we gonna do with them if we go back to? How long is the trip to Feltharia? It's farther than Sharif.
I
And
mean,
is there?
you could probably get a boat.
Were we gonna take the horses and the carriage on the boat?
How else are we gonna get them back?
It's about
Unless we're gonna come back.
150, 200 miles.
It's gonna be several dollars. Doll hairs. I'm sorry.
we don't have to go to Feltharia, really.
No, I mean like I totally get going to a bigger city if we're trying to find more people. But like, what are we gonna do with the stuff we have? What do we?
Did it add an inn?
Is there a return policy?
I don't.
So
Do
Danny,
you
as
want
you're
to tell Calvin that? Do you really want to have that conversation with Calvin?
Please don't bring Calvin up. I'm gonna freak out again.
so Danny, you as you're kind of thinking about this, and as you kind of hear Calvin's
Calvin
name,
pokes his head in. I'll kill you.
you realize that Calvin, being an intelligent creature, may have an opinion on what you do with him.
Listen, people have opinions about all kinds of things. That doesn't make them true.
And Calvin is people, and that's why he has an opinion.
Stop that!
Where is Calvin right now?
he's you left him in the stables, so you presume he's in the stables.
Connected to this building or a
It's like a separate building, but it's on the same lot of land, so you could just step
Okay.
outside and go over there.
Yep, I'm gonna walk over and see Calvin for a minute. Anybody coming?
Yeah, I want to
Oh,
pick out which horse is which.
That's a great idea.
Okay.
Yeah, so you guys step outside, and it's cooler, but it's starting to warm up, and the sounds of the city are starting to come back, and there's more traffic back on the roads, and you can see plenty of guardsmen out now that there's been some sort of threat or attack. And there's definitely a lot more of a presence, both on the ground and in the sky above you. And you guys step over to the stables, and there's some other horses in here, but you guys have kept your two horses and Calvin kind of together, next to each other in the stall, and you can see they're all giving each other like the side eye. You can sense that there's some sort of maybe rivalry or something. But every once in a while, before you get there, you just hear a thump, and you thump, and they're just kicking the wall next to each other, when they think neither of them's looking, and you can see them all kind of start a little bit. they're unhappy, but obviously it's yeah. And so you guys arrive, and Calvin's not really paying any attention to any of you, but and the other horses kind of whinny a little bit and take note of your arrival. They're very
Hey
large.
guys, you want to go on a boat ride?
The horses eye each other, kind of.
Insolent.
Yeah, the horses just kind of they kind of shake their head, and Calvin, what you realize was facing away from them, had his ass toward the other horses so he could kick their wall easier, and he rolls an eye over towards you guys, and why the fuck are we going on a boat? I thought we were going. What is the deal here? What is with you people? Where are we going?
Danny, why don't you tell them your plan?
Calvin. So, hey, buddy.
I don't think we're buddies, but go on.
If I don't know, I bought you. You do what I say. That's where we're at right now. So, how would you feel about a boat ride?
No. That's a terrible idea. You know what's in water? You know what's in water? There's so many things in water that can eat you. That can eat me. No, there's crocodiles and hippos and that's drakes and
not to mention
krakens.
fish.
This mule's seen a fucking.
And krakens. There's things in water. You crazy? No.
Have you seen a kraken?
No. You couldn't pay me enough to get in the water.
Hey, what, Cal? Where would you want to go then? If we don't put you on a boat, where do you want to go?
Literally anywhere but the water. I will go anywhere.
I'm gonna turn back to.
Look, I mean, if we're gonna go somewhere, just look. As long as we're going, all right. This city sucks. I hate this place.
Why do you hate this place?
And he just kicks the stall next to him.
They're coming with us.
They're coming with us. What the fuck you mean they're coming with us? Oh, fine, all right, fine, whatever. It's not necessarily their fault, all right. It's boring, all right.
Yeah. You don't talk to just anybody, do you?
I don't talk to just anybody. I'm my own mule. I can talk to who I want to talk to.
If I take you to Sharith and you start talking to people, they're gonna hem you up. They're gonna make sausages out of you.
He's kind of looks between the three of you.
And I'm just shaking my head.
Just kind of you kind of well, maybe I won't talk to everybody.
Okay, good. I don't know, and honestly, I don't know if that's true, right? I'm just
He's just a smart mule. Maybe a polymorph person,
hey,
but
Inquisitions, man, I'm telling you, they may be that's a monster. You're you never know.
Oh, you're projecting?
Yeah, I'm a monster.
classic
Yeah,
Danny.
look, I might be a monster, but look, and he just he kind of strikes a little bit of a pose. I'm a monster beauty. Look at me. He realized that he might be a little full of himself, just a little bit.
This is when we realize it.
I don't know why.
Good point.
I don't know why I thought asking a donkey for advice was a good idea. So
Look.
Do you say that out loud?
of course.
You want advice?
Mule.
Look, man. Yeah. Well, look. I have many opinions, all right? But as far as we're concerned, as long as we don't go on a boat, I'm okay. All right, I will go anywhere because it's better than being stuck in this boring old fucking. He just kind of like looks around and just loses the words
I'm
for
just
it.
gonna be intently staring at the horses, trying to figure out who deserves to be what name.
They seem mildly uncomfortable under your gaze, but
Is there any differences between them?
roll a perception check.
Okay.
And Calvin says, "Look, you mentioned this
Oh,
Sharif
natural
place.
one.
At least Sharif will be like, it'll be interesting. Maybe it'll teach me some self-control. I don't know. I don't know how to justify this. Let's go north. What the hell?"
What do you
So,
think, Danny?
as far as like the places that are within relatively close distance,
Uh-huh.
Colonnata, Darler, Sidingia, and Pseudolore. Do any of those have like I'm thinking like a large, powerful group that we might have an in with, or one that I may be able to influence somehow?
You're asking Calvin.
No,
Oh, okay. Okay. I was like, because I could do this. Okay. Make another society check for me. And Azalea, there is no like discernible difference between the two horses. They're like
Probably
probably
exactly.
they're probably twins.
You rolled a one.
Yeah.
You think they're clones?
Yeah.
So I did not roll a 32 this time. I rolled a 31.
Oh, nice.
Well, you know that Sudingia is at war with the Linyenwa Alliance, and Pseudolore has joined the Linyenwa Alliance, and Umbaria has joined Sudingia. And any powerful groups that are in those countries are more likely focused on the war effort and would not necessarily be able to transport you anywhere like north or west. Darlora is relatively neutral at this point. There is let me make sure I find it. Oh gosh, there's a lot of notes I need to look at here. That's a really high roll. So,
What how does Darlor feel about the Ashlands?
so Darlor is terrified of the Ashlands. They realize that it's full of fucking vampires, and they have been actively, and these are rumors that you had heard previously in Karthos, they're actively searching for allies for like a defensive pact. And Karthos and Darlor have been driven closer together. And let's see. There
Would
is
news that Rob Radair is joining the Ashlands possibly be a useful
that
bargaining chip?
that news would be extremely upsetting to a lot of people. Now, you gave that news to Captain Brangrider, so it's a good chance that that's passed through merchant guild channels. Now, the merchant guild would probably be able to protect you. They facilitate trade throughout the entire continent, so if you were to work for them, they would be able to help you out. The Sailors Guild would not be able to help you in this case because you're not going to be on the water. Now, Kalinata, maybe they're mostly been focused on themselves of late, as far as you've heard, just kind of on the streets and whatnot. It's very much a hill country, and they just make wine. That is their thing. They very much love their parties.
Who's their god?
So they originally they have this thing called the Red Festival every year, dedicated to Brazia and Hymele, but now it's also dedicated to Bothengil, the Lord of Drunken Revels. So, yeah, they have a good time there. Let's see. Otherwise, your best bet locally would probably be the Scola Medicinae. It is a widely well-regarded institution for the both medicinal arts and for some more religious practices. It is owned by the Temple of Sphos. This is just things you've heard, but not necessarily like adherent to its policies. Danny, you would feel fairly safe going there, mostly because Umbaria has allowed the Inquisition in, but still has kind of a modicum of control over what it does. Your next best bet would be the Adventurers Guild. You're fairly confident that any capital city probably has a headquarters there, at least on this side of the continent. You know Karthos had one. Feltharia, Darlur, Hilgarten probably have them. Sharif, you would bet, has one. You're not positive, but you know they're headquartered in Bergam in Ravardere. So those are kind of your kind of best guesses as to people that would be able to kind of offer you any sort of protection. If you're doing something for the Schola Medicinae, they would most likely leave you alone. Generally speaking, they create potions kind of en masse, things of healing, things to ward off disease. They do medical research and also some of the sort of divine scholarly pursuits, those kind of religious studies. Uh, as far as local goes, that would probably be your best immediate bet. Searching out something to kind of give you some sort of protection, but yeah, that's kind of what you got out of that.
Sweet.
I know that was a lot.
Well, all things considered, guys, I think we should. I kind of feel like we should explore here and see what happens before we leave. Like, I don't know if
Yeah.
leaving right off the bat.
Oh,
is a
do you
great
share any of that with us?
No.
Okay, no worries.
Unless
Yeah,
you ask.
no. That's totally okay. You didn't ask a person. It's just things you like recalled. So totally
Yeah.
normal.
If y'all want to talk about it, of course I would tell you. But
Yeah, no, like I already think we should check the Adventurers Guild, see if there's an Adventurers Guild here.
yeah, so
So.
it's like lunchtime now, right? Is it about lunch? or still
You know, you
morning?
guys have been talking for a couple of hours now, and you're outside. It's getting towards lunchtime, and you guys do actually spot Sonia and her wife, and Honey kind of coming up the street.
Let's walk into town and see if we can find some place to eat and see what kind of people we can meet. See if we can find the Adventurers Guild and explore a little.
Okay. So you guys are on the north side of the river. Which way do you guys want to go to explore?
Hey, Calvin, do you want to come with us? There'll be like hitching posts, right? That we could leave him at when we go inside places.
Yeah, you'd expect that.
Okay,
It gets me away from these two bozos. Yeah, sure.
cool. We're just gonna wander.
Okay. Yeah, so you
What'd you name the horses? Who's who?
I don't know. I think they're clones of each other.
We could like get them hats or something or socks to color code them. Bracelets, earrings.
hmm.
Color code.
It's a horse. You can put stuff in their mane.
That occurred to me after all of the other things I said. We could braid their hair differently.
I don't know. Does one look stronger than the other or something? Or...
No, you are like convinced that these are exactly the same animal, just two of them.
There's just two of them.
There is literally
one
no
seem like-
distinctive features.
Does one seem more calm than the other? Like, is it personality different at this point?
Yeah, the one on the left seems a little more calm than the one on the right.
The calm one we'll call Clover, and the skittish one will be Noodle.
Okay. Do you say this out loud?
Yep.
All right. Should we braid their hair now so we can distinguish them? That wasn't the word I wanted, but I was already halfway through it. So, Noodle, I'm gonna braid at least one lock of your mane. Oh.
Not much of a reaction. Just
Azalea, will you pick me up and like set me on the something to hold so that I can braid?
Okay. And I'll do like that. I don't know how to hold a child grip.
Cool. So I'm just gonna braid one of these, and it's Noodle.
Okay. Yeah, Noodle allows you to do that. Danny, are you getting Calvin set up?
I mean, I'll go hang out with him for a minute. Yeah, I'll get him set up. Hey, you want me to braid your hair?
Roll a diplomacy check.
13.
If a mule could shrug, that's kind of what you pick up. It's a very nonchalant, like meh.
Yeah, I'm totally not going to braid his hair, but I'll get his little halter and lead
Yeah.
set up.
Cool.
Alright, I'm gonna set up the one that I'm gonna ride into town because I'm taking them with me.
Both of them?
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, someone else is gonna have to ride the other one, but I figured one of you guys
just
would
leave
be
them.
okay with the horse or that. Yeah,
Are you gonna leave them or take them?
I'm taking them.
Okay.
I paid good money for them. I'm getting getting use out of them.
They also will likely enjoy the
Yeah,
experience.
they seem to be excited
Yeah.
to go for a walk.
Thing.
To look around. Oh, he's right there.
He's
Yeah,
right
he's right.
over
Yeah,
here.
okay, I see him. Yeah. But yeah, they you guys get them all out. And Calvin seems to roll his eyes at the other two joining us. But yes, you guys head. Which direction are you going?
To the Scuola Medicina.
Oh, okay, you're going straight there. Okay.
Are we taking the job then? Is that what's happening?
What? There's a job?
Which one? The
Wasn't
farmer
there
stuff?
No.
No, wasn't there a quest for the school of
Oh,
delivery
there
or
was a quest to
something?
carry things to the Scuola Medicina. I thought.
There is. Yep.
Oh, I was just
No.
going to go to the Scuola Medicina.
Oh.
Oh yeah, we'd have to go to a farmer and pick up stuff to take to the School of Medicina. I mean, I guess we could.
I mean, if
could-
we're gonna head
could do
there,
that.
you might as well get paid to go there.
So
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to have to do like a lot of physical labor.
Danny, do
We don't know what
a
we're
or,
hauling.
any of you
We
can
got
do a
horses
society
now.
check if you want. Anybody can do a society check.
I will roll. 24.
27.
Yeah, so there's a scribble on the kind of the back of that parchment, saying essentially directions to this place, this dude's farm, and it's on the other side of the river, on the south side, on the very south side of town, and this is a very wide city, so it would take you most of the day to get there and back. So if you wanted to go during daylight hours, sure, you'd be able to get to the School of Medicina pretty quick. But if you were going to go get these goods, you'd probably get there at night. But it's up
That's
to
it. We could do the delivery tomorrow. Let's just go find some lunch and explore our immediate vicinity
That's fair.
and see if we can, find out where things are and what the layout of the city is.
you. Okay. Danny, roll percentile die for me.
Do 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 do. Oops. 80.
Cool. Okay. So you guys kind of head north.
Another assassin fungus.
Yeah. Kind of looking for somewhere to eat, but more or less just kind of moseying. You had a fairly large breakfast, except for Cyra, who didn't really finish hers. But you actually don't end up really finding anywhere specific to eat. There are some kind of stalls set up on the road, selling fruits, vegetables, cured meats, and whatnot. You could kind of cobble a meal together, but there's there's no inns, at least on this area where you're kind of headed. So you could just pay a couple of 2 copper pieces to kind of get some meats and breads.
Can
and
I
some
use a
fruits.
society check to subsist and see if there's any fresh-ish fruit in some trash or something nearby?
Sure.
It's cheap.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Hey. Yeah, that's good. 32.
Oh yeah, you're able to quickly, find some maybe leftover fruit that maybe wasn't maybe planning on being sold later. It kind of looks like it was set aside, maybe because it wasn't totally great, but looks good enough for you to eat.
Hey guys, look, lunch. Found a snack.
Hey, what?
Sarah, they don't look particularly great, but certainly good enough for you, Danny.
These are delicious.
hey, remember how you said you wanted to ingratiate ourselves with the people and kind of make ourselves seem important, right?
Yeah, we're not wasteful. Why would
Important
anybody judge
people
us?
don't eat garbage. Hard stop. That's what you're eating.
One man's garbage is another man's really good fruit.
It's The apple looks pretty fine to you. It's very heavily
In my
bruised.
head, I'm like, you know what? I hated that plan anyway. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Go for it. I'm gonna grab something from. I'm just gonna like get little snackies at stalls.
Yeah, you pay 2 copper pieces, and you're able to, get some breads and some smoked meats and some other things that you can just get at munch on. But it takes you
Yeah, that
takes,
seems like a better idea.
takes you about.
Is
You
there
don't want to
anything-
eat garbage.
Is there anything
Not-
interesting in this trash can? Like, anybody throwing anything cool away?
As far as you can tell, not really.
Yeah, Dad.
This it's more of like a midden heap for food and whatnot. So not really. Just a couple of bones. What may have once been a chicken at some point.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys kind of take about 30 minutes because you're on horse/mule back. It takes a lot. It's a lot quicker to move through crowds of people as they don't want to get stomped to death by a giant Clydesdale. And so yeah, you guys.
Wait, which one are you riding, Marlena?
Clover.
Okay. I'm on Noodle then.
Okay.
Um,
I'm gonna braid the rest of his hair.
Okay.
as you're kind of riding, Calvin's being fairly quiet. He's not saying anything. And it takes, like I said, about a half hour before you get to the Scola Medicinae, Saint Agina's Scola Medicinae. It is a large complex in the north bounds, which is kind of the northern area of the city. It's very sprawling. There's gardens, there's insulae, there's more of those apartments, greenhouses, and some other buildings. The Scola Medicinae itself is really centered on a 3-story tall marble construction, covered in leafy green vines, even in the closing weeks of autumn here. The facade is covered in not only vines, but construction. There's workers scurrying here and there on scaffolding, and you can see students and faculty, what you presume to be students and faculty anyway, moving about kind of beneath them. It's about, the main building is maybe 500 feet wide, perhaps 200 feet deep, and it's adorned with carvings of religious symbols, plants, various scenes of just clerics healing ailments and people. The main entrance is at the center, and its 2 large doors are open on this relatively cool day. You guys can see that there's a lot of, most of the people here that aren't like general like construction workers, they seem to be like kind of shoring up some of the marble or maybe carving. It's really hard to tell actually. But most of the people wearing like brown, kind of plain brown robes. Every once in a while you see somebody in a kind of a brilliant white robe. But for the most part, it's just brown robed people. But yeah, it's a pretty big area, and yeah, there is in fact an area to just kind of immediately on the inside of the grounds. It's kind of fenced in, but the gate is open. There is like a small stable area that you can kind of put your animals.
Okay.
So you tie up the horses
Teach
and
them.
hitch
sorry.
hitch Calvin up, and Noodle and Clover. Yeah, where do you guys want to go? There's nobody like collecting a fee or anything like that. Just seem to have open stalls. Just gotta like put them in there. So now what are you guys doing?
Danny?
Well, what do you think?
Oh, this one was your idea. I have no idea.
Yeah, this is why I said we should deliver something. That way we have at least a reason to be here, and we're not just these widows that like walked in, said, I don't know why I'm here," and then we're gonna leave.
I know. Let's just walk in like weirdos, and we're not sure why we're here. But I am really good at alchemy, and maybe I could sell myself for cash.
It's a choice of words.
Yeah, so you guys gotta head down down this kind of central promenade. It's tree lined, and there's very gorgeous.
Never? Like, what are we selling?
My services, obviously.
That's all right.
There's some gorgeous topiaries of creatures that you have and have not seen, like just big bushes that have been cut into shapes.
Okay.
Like there's one that's
Yes,
a dragon. There's
that.
one that's some large like tusked animal. There's a bear or maybe a large dog. It's really hard to tell, kind of. It looks like a whale. There's a bunch. There's a lot of these strange. There's even like you see there's a couple of deer and their antlers are all covered in different flowers and but all of these this area is very both natural and very unnatural. It is very controlled growth here. And there's birds kind of singing in the trees and the bushes and whatnot, but there's no large animals. There's no deer. There's not even any like rabbits or anything. There's just so much activity here, and you guys kind of go under this giant area of construction and step inside this main hall. And this place is just full of religious iconography and plants. It is like a church dedicated to plants. You see mostly images of Sphos and her saints kind of staving off death. You can see there's statues around it. It's a 2-story tall, a very cavernous room. And you see there's on the first floor here anyway, there are busts of people, like carvings of people, lining the walls. The left wall is like kind of full. They're all on pedestals, and the right wall is maybe about halfway full. You can see that the busts are mostly human, at least human-esque. There's a couple that are very clearly elves. There's a dwarf. You see a catfolk, and you actually even see a bust of a dragon amongst the statuary. So, there's clearly a long history of people in this building anyway, and you don't recognize any of these people at all. But there's some sort of maybe like a reception desk or something, kind of off to your right. There's hallways. There's one large hallway kind of leading forward. There's one to your left and one to your right, and there's a pair of like staircases that kind of on the left and right wall that go up, kind of to a landing, and then go up again. There's a lot of younger people, all of them kind of wearing these simple brown robes. Most of them are carrying like stacks of papers. They're carrying books, scrolls, potted plants. Some of them shuffling about their business with some steaming mugs of drink. Look very tired. But there's a small number of kind of older people, all wearing these very plain but very bright white robes. Mostly unhurried compared to the younger people in brown robes where they're like rushing everywhere. But you do see there's an elven man behind the reception desk, and he's got like golden spectacles just resting really low on his nose. He's kind of eyeing you. He's just eyeing you guys.
I'm gonna casually turn off as though I didn't come in with them. He wouldn't know, or as though I'm not with them. Can I do that discreetly? Is this a large enough area? It could look circumstantial.
You could do a stealth check,
yeah,
just to kind of avoid notice.
Yeah. 17.
Okay.
16. Sorry.
Sure. As far as
and I'm just gonna start browsing the statues.
Okay.
And I'm gonna message them. Be cool. I have a second plan.
I'm just gonna make a weird face, like okay, and then I'm like, I want to approach the elven man.
Okay.
Is Azalea? I'm gonna look back. Is Azalea coming with me, or is she not?
It would kind of be weird to stand by myself, and someone already broke off. So I guess, but I'm not gonna pretend to know why we're here. So, just gonna be following.
Okay.
Here we go. Approach the elven man.
Yeah, so the desk is fairly tall, and he has to kind of like lean over the desk to look at you. And you see very clearly an elf. His blonde hair is in like a very simple ponytail. There's no adornments or anything like that. But he's got a very severe widow's peak. And he's got the little spectacles low on his nose, and as he kind of leans over, he like adjusts them a little bit higher up. But he's got a very plain brown robe on, and you can actually see Azalea. Really, you can see behind him that there's a corkboard, and that corkboard has a number of just scraps of paper on it that have writing, but it's kind of hard to read from here. It's written very small. And he says, yeah, what can I do to help you?
I'm gonna point down to Danny.
And I'm gonna stick my hand in my jacket again and kind of stand poised and try to act all,
Roll a
important.
society check to make an impression.
That would, Jesus, I have rolled nothing but 17s and 18s all day.
Good for you.
17s and 18s is what it is. So 32.
Yeah,
Nice.
he seems to recognize your feigned
A man of
importance.
culture.
And he says, yes, sir. I'm sorry. What can I do for you? What can the Scola Medicinae do for you?
Well, I am Aodan, Danny for short, and this is my companion here, Azalea. She's quite a good road traveling companion, if you ask me. But regardless, I'm a traveling alchemist of some great skill and moderate renown. We happen to be passing through here at Sereno.
Cyrano.
Sereno. There we go. Emphasis on the wrong syllable. Uh, I was wondering if perhaps my skills could be of use, or if there's anything that your great establishment here, which I must say I do respect what you do. I actually quite admire this wonderful facility. Is there anything perhaps that I could do to help you, or is there someone I could speak with in management that might be worth conversing with?
And his eyes light up. When you note that you're an alchemist, and you realize this guy is probably a student. He's just like, working the front desk, as it were. And says, absolutely, sir. I would love to be of service to you.
Part of his work study program.
And Azalea, you note that there's a potted plant on the desk. It's got these nice pink flowers. It is actually Azalea.
Oh.
And he says, yes, of course, sir. I have. Well, if you're somebody of great renown and traveling, welcome to our establishment, Sir Aodan. And Azalea, of course. It is lovely to meet the both of you. I would love to do anything that I can do to help you. Is there something specific that you're looking for? I can find one of the apothecaries for you to speak to if you wish, but perhaps I could do something for you here before I, reach out to. Anyway, is there something specific that you're looking for? Like, any adventures or well, I have, and he goes over to the corkboard and, like, rather than take the pieces of paper off the corkboard, he actually just takes the corkboard down, and it's not a small corkboard. Like, he's gotta, like, grab it, and he gets about halfway through the motion, and he's like, he seems to recognize what he's doing, and he's like, you hear him take a really deep breath, and he just, like, puts it back on the wall. He just starts taking them out. And he hands 3 pieces of paper down to you, Danny. Perhaps, sir, Aodan, these could be of use to you. These are just small jobs that students and faculty have put forward for, students or passing adventurers. We're not affiliated with the Adventurers Guild, I'm afraid. But I assure you, these we vet them, and of course we're willing. Those who post these are willing to pay good money or experience or whatnot for anything you're willing to do. But if these are not to your liking, then of course I could go fetch an apothecary for you, and perhaps we could talk about bigger things.
Well, no, this is plenty to keep us entertained while we stay here in the city. I mean, it's something to start with. You are a student of alchemical pursuits?
Yes, of course. I am. I very much am willing to learn, and I have done. Well, you see, my research project. I just got to pitch it to you. I'm so sorry. But I'm
Roll
trying.
my eyes and walk away.
He's not paying any
He
attention
doesn't
to you.
care about you at
And
all.
he's like,
I know.
I'm trying to mix alchemist fire, but with not only a tanglefoot bag, but with a frost vial. If I could put all of them together, it would truly be something that could. I'm trying to sell it to those places that need security. Be able to set it in a trap and launch it at somebody's feet, and it would not only tangle them in place, but it would freeze them in place, and it would light them up like a beacon in the dark. Do you understand? obviously you understand. You are an alchemist of
What
great
type of
renown.
fire was he like set them on fire?
He said alchemist fire, a frost vial, and a tanglefoot bag. He's trying to put it into like one potion.
Isn't there? There's got to be dust that makes you glow. Like fire
You walked
is
away.
not-
You're not here anymore.
I can still hear this. I'm turning around
You're
and I'm
coming
like,
back?
this is gonna fucking. Yeah, there's got to be something you can use instead of fire, because it seems too. What?
As Azalea, my dear, this is not your expertise. Thank you so much for your input. Good sir. I'll turn back to him.
Yes. Oh, I'm so sorry. I should have introduced myself.
Put a knife in your back. You watch.
My name is Adamar Goldtwig. It is, and he reaches over the over the counter to like shake your hand.
Yeah, I'll
And I took alchemical crafting too. You're not the only one.
I'll take my hand out of my coat, like visibly a little disturbed, like okay, and I'll do like a weird like one of these handshakes, you know.
Yeah, and he kind of takes it in stride, or just doesn't know any better, and he just kind of like he leans a little bit away and says, "Yes, please take a moment to read over those, and maybe we could discuss my project a little bit more."
Would you be open to some advice from a well accomplished alchemist?
Of course. Oh yes, sir. Please. I would love anything.
Before you pursue your research project, I don't know how skilled you really are, but maybe focus on the basics. Have you ever made a we'll say a salamander potion to withstand fire?
Oh. Well, once, but I think it was more by accident, to be honest with you, than my own skill.
I happen to have something. I have a formula here. If is it in your formula book? Do you already study salamander potions, or not really?
Well, this was not. No. And he looks
Here,
very embarrassed. He goes bright red.
I'll say take this, and I set it on the table. The salamander potion formula.
Yeah.
I say here, take this. It's a gift from me. No judgment. I'm not in any way berating your skills, but trust me when I say you should focus on the basics, and over time your advanced projects will come to fruition. But take this and practice with something. This is a little harder to make than a basic alchemist fire, to be honest. But this is a gift from me to you.
You almost killed us this morning.
That was a fungus beast. That was not me. I did not almost kill you. It almost killed you.
There's a couple of reactions that happen here as his eyes. The red kind of fades away and he lights up. But like, not only does he light up, he almost goes into tears. You can see his eyes like film over with excitement, and clearly nobody's really talked to him this way, and he very very gingerly takes it and like. He starts taking it. You hear a thump as he puts a book on the desk, which is clearly his alchemist formula book. And then Azalea's note kind of hits him, and he kind of shakes his head for a second, and then he hears the word fungus beast, and he goes, "You had something to do with the fungus beast this morning. We heard about that. By the gods,
Anything with it? Just survived.
What? That's incredibly impressive. I heard that it had a flame breath that nearly burned half the city down. Well, looking outside, I don't think that's quite the case, but I heard terrible things.
I wouldn't say it had flame breath. Yeah, is someone interested in this? Should I speak with someone about this specifically?
Yes. Give me just a moment, and You see him take a sheaf of like blank parchment, and he takes out a quill, and you hear him scribbling for a second. And it takes all three of you realize, and Cyra, you're kind of like more or less just kind of moseying around, but you're keeping an eye on it. You see there's actually like a system of tubes behind him, and he just like he takes out a small tube and he puts the thing in it. And he puts it in a tube, and it goes up. It disappears into the ductwork above, into the ceiling. It seems to be some sort of pneumatic system. He says, just a moment, please, while I send word, and hopefully I could get you a meeting with the head apothecary. That would be very Yes, any information that we could use, of course. And Sir Erdan, please, thank you so much for what you've given to me. I will cherish this advice and really keep it close at heart. Thank you. And he seems to be at a loss for words again.
I'll just nod and put my nose in the air and kind of look around. Not to be a jerk, but
You are the worst.
Taking a level in Poisoner. Next chance I get.
Would you like to read the sheets of paper that he handed over to you?
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. So while you're waiting, the first one, it reads, "They who blossom. I am a fruit leshy from the north, visiting from Ionafarn in North Equishire. I am looking for someone to protect me while I gather herbs just out the city and along the riverbank. I will pay 10 gold per person per day." The second one reads, "A small group of students wants to take a short field trip to the west, upriver, some miles, doesn't specify. We need a chaperone to ensure we're not attacked by dangerous animals while we learn about river herbs. We'll pay 5 silver per person per day." And the last one says, "I am they who flourish, not they who blossom. They who flourish. I am from Raverdare. I am a recent graduate, and I need an escort back to my home in Bergam. A full or partial escort is fine. 200 gold per major city reached, 100 gold up front, 500 gold at delivery." That's what it says. Those are the 3 that you have.
What do they say? I'm gonna message you.
Graduates aren't that rich. What does this guy do?
What was the payout on the second one? 5 silver per person?
Yeah, 5 silver per person per day. However many days you want to take on this field trip.
Well, and I'll look at Azalea. You're still standing relatively close to me.
To berate the student, yeah.
Okay.
Which, surprisingly, you haven't. Fire it's fine. Feelings. Go on.
I'm gonna act a little confused. Like, why are you offended? I don't know. Anyway,
I'm a goblin. I burn things.
Two of these are interesting. The fruit leshy, gathering herbs, 10 gold per person. That's 30 gold, per day, helping them get plants. I do also like the escort all the way to Raverdare.
Depends on how annoying they are, because if it's bad, I'm just gonna try to learn Sylvan and talk to my horse. Seems more interesting.
You're not obligated to interact with them.
What did the messages say? I'm messaging you guys.
Oh, you're.
She's like across. She's like across the room.
Yeah,
and
you guys
100 feet away.
can reply. Yeah, you guys are able to reply when I message you.
I'm gonna talk out loud though. We got a fruit leshy, or we got an escort. We are the escorts.
There's enough people in here that are minding their own business that they don't even give you a second glance. Like they're so busy moving about their business that they're like, whatever.
Where are they being escorted to?
Raverdare.
Where in Raverdare?
Bergam.
Do we have to go all the way? Do we have to go all the way?
I don't have to. No, we can.
More money if we do.
Well, that's not what I'm getting at. Could we go by way of Sharif?
Yeah, the most direct route is probably through Sharif.
That would be the case, yes, for the Imperial Highway.
In that case, would this be considered official business?
Yeah, we would be a escort.
Yeah, but they're not. They said they're not affiliated with the guild, so would we have protection? I don't think so.
Was it the Adventurers Guild or the Apothecary Guild?
They're
an Apothecary Guild?
It's a recent grad.
Yeah, so there is no Apothecary Guild. There's some history for you. When the Elevian Empire broke apart 90-ish years ago, it was split into East and West, and it was ruled by a council of apothecaries. Apothecaries are very, very highly regarded. Now, in most places. Of course, there's nobility now that kind of scoffs and spits at him because power and all that. But most people have a high regard for apothecaries, and especially this school is associated with the Temple of Sphos, and not associated with the Adventurers Guild. So there you go.
Would this be... That seems really promising. Because as long as we're associated with the temple, if we went under their blessing, would you be safe, Danny?
I mean, yeah, this is exactly what I said
This
we
seems
should come look for.
Perfect.
But we might have a bigger in with the apothecaries specifically because they're going up to get... They want information about the fungus thing.
Love it. Great. Let's learn more about the fungus.
Okay. And as you guys kind of have this mental telepathic conversation, let me... Okay. So, Azalea, you're kind of focused on maybe trying not to have this poor student get blown up by Danny's advice. So you're more of a little bit in your own world, trying to maybe figure out how to help him. Whereas Danny and Cyra, you're paying a little bit more attention to your surroundings. And just for a moment, it's very strange. There's like it's really hard to describe. It's almost like a ghostly presence for just a moment. Ends up around the student Adamar's shoulders. It's like a very noodle-like, almost like a snake. Just for a moment, it's like a very ghostly image. It's like almost like an after image of something like you looked at it too bright, and it's there and then it's gone. And Adamar kind of jumps a little bit and he says, "Oh, the head apothecary will see you now. Yes, just I'll escort you. Please, follow me." And he kind of gestures for...
I'm going to join them. I think this is more promising than than my plan, so I'm done with it. I'm done with my plan.
Yeah, so Adamar kind of leads you guys up the right stairwell. You go up, and then there's actually like a third floor kind of beyond the roof of this this big room. And he leads you up again. And you guys, let's see. Yeah. You follow Adamar into a very sparsely decorated hall. It is full of... it's fairly wide. You can fit maybe 3 or 4 people in here if it weren't for all of the potted plants in this hallway. So maybe you can fit like 2 people abreast. And there's just so many plants. There's Azalea, there's nightshade, there's more plants than you can really count, honestly. There's small trees, there's shrubs, there's berry bushes that are completely out of season. You can see blueberries, there's juniper. There's none of this shit should be growing in here, and yet somehow it is. And there's a lot of the places you've been has been very much kind of old, right? It's been a lot of old ruins. It's been a lot of carvings, but these walls are all painted. They're all paintings of depictions of saints, of clerics, of people healing. It's not so much carvings, but these things you would guess, as if they were ruins, would kind of fall into decay over time. But this is a very well-kept place, even if it is older. And it takes you just 2 or 3 minutes before you get to an open set of double doors. Big, just kind of very plain doors. They've got iron banding in them, but there's no carvings, there's no pictures or paintings or gilding or anything like that. Very much a door that is very structurally sound, and when it's locked, you're not getting in, sort of deal, but nothing that would kind of shout like wealth or nobility. And you step into this office, and there is a single window, a very large, full-wall window. And it's not like individual pane, it's just one pane of glass. And it's maybe 20, 30 feet tall and 50 or 60 feet wide, and it's just letting all this light in. And there's one spot kind of in the middle of this window where somebody could stand, and all the rest of it is just plants. It's just planter boxes, and you actually hear the hum of bees as you actually see there's a hive kind of in the corner of the room. And there's like vines kind of hanging from the ceiling, and there's like a pot of mushrooms growing in a corner. There's like a dead log with more mushrooms on it, and you can see that there's a desk that it's mostly like maybe a stump had been pulled out of the ground and kind of sat on its side, so that there's a bunch of roots and stuff, almost serving as like a shield or a screen, really, so nobody can really see what's on the desk. But there's somebody behind this desk, and it's a fairly maybe like 5 or 6 feet wide. And there's a person behind this desk, a woman. She's dressed in a very bright white, very simple robe, but her waist, you can see it as she stands, is covered in pouches and like bottles. And there's like, and these pouches are like, most of them are kind of full to bursting. There's like herbs and twigs like sticking out of most of them, and like little flowers, and some of them are dried, some of them look pretty well alive. And all the bottles are all filled with different colors of potions and whatnot. And she smiles. She's got very big dimples and high cheekbones. She's very kind of a dark brown skin, shoulder length hair. It's black. It's very straight. But the last like maybe 2 inches or so of her hair is like a dyed a very bright red. And she's got very prominent freckles, and you can see that her left eye is kind of a bright blue, but her right eye is kind of a deep purple. And around her shoulders is a like 4 or 5 foot long snake, kind of a cream and brown colored boa. And the student steps in and says, "Head Apothecary Falks, these are the guests that I was speaking about." And then he just notices that Cyra, you're there too. Kind of looks confused, decides not to say anything, and he just kind of like, before he ends up, maybe incriminating himself for saying anything, the head apothecary says, "Oh, that's just wonderful. Please, you're dismissed. Close the door behind you." And he kind of ushers you in and pulls the doors closed, and it's kind of a heavy kertung as it kind of closes. But other than the hum of the bees, it's pretty quiet in here as she kind of looks all of you up and down. She just kind of looks at you just for a moment. She says, "It is always a pleasure to have new people here at the Scola Medicinae. I hear that you have news of whatever fungal happenings were in the city this morning. Just, well, maybe 2 or 3 hours ago."
It tried to eat me.
"It tried to eat you? My goodness.
Stuffed me
Spas,
inside.
that's terrible.
It was horrifying.
Tell me, did you fall into it? Was it moving? What was this creature? What was it like?"
It grabbed me and stuffed me inside.
You realize she's
I
got
cut
like
myself out with a knife.
she's got like a slate and a piece of chalk, and she's like taking notes. Like, she hasn't even introduced herself really, and she's taking notes. What about you two? What happened?
Well. First, I am Aodan. You could call me Danny. I am an alchemist of some renown, although surely not up to the skills of this magnificent facility and the apothecaries such as yourself that work here. But regardless, I am blessed as a alchemist. However, yeah, we did encounter the fungus thing, right? Right, Azalea? Yeah, that was interesting. What, do you know anything about it?
Roll a society check for me. And as you kind of introduce yourself, the boa around her neck actually just like seems to flicker, almost like an old TV with a bad signal, and just like it disappears, and then for just a moment it appears, and you feel a weight on your shoulders, Danny, and it flickers and disappears again. It gets back onto her shoulders. What'd you roll?
28, and I mean no harm, of course. Why? Your snake scares me. That thing's huge.
She's Aodan and Azalea, and I'm sorry. What is your name, little kobold?
I'm Cyra.
Cyra. It is very Excellent to meet you. This is Flicker. You can see he kind of does what he wishes to do. I do apologize. I understand it's very unsettling the first couple of times. I understood Adamar was quite startled when he appeared on his shoulders, but either way, yes, I am head of apothecary Falks. I am so sorry, I got ahead of myself. Yes, terrible creature, this thing, trying to eat you, and I am trying to gather news about it, and the guardsmen were relatively unhelpful. I am quite afraid that Capitano Sfasano is not maybe the most descriptive man, but it is what it is. I understood that it exploded, it blew up people or some such.
Yeah. I mean, there's two things going on here. One, the corpses they explode and I presume spread spores, of which are flammable. So I discovered, and the creature itself also seemed to harness my alchemist fire, made it more powerful. It seemed not a good thing.
No,
Fire is not the way to kill these.
that is not good at all. Interesting. And she kind of scribbles some notes, and she steps away for a moment, and you see that the wall behind her is covered in like scrolls, and she seems to go to the scrolls and seems to be looking to see what she can find.
Our hosts called them spore assassins. Said that in their adventuring days they had run into them as well.
Interesting, interesting. Ah, yes. That does sound about right. You must have been with Sonia and Alina. Yes.
Alina!
Yes. Oh, they. I hope they're doing well. I don't get down there often enough anymore. Uh, back in my olden student days, I spent quite a bit of time doing homework there, if you understand. But either way, yes, spore assassins. Interesting. I believe she had told me a story. Oh, was it Alina, perhaps? I think it may have been Alina. Well, and she's kind of looking through some scrolls, and she pulls one down, and you see flicker away up onto the shelf and like push one down with his nose, and she grabs it and kind of pulls him over. And there's a kind of on the side of the room that your back is to. There's a large table that you all kind of stand around. And she kind of like ushers you over there as she's got an armful of scrolls, and she starts kind of laying things out. And she says, "You see, this school is for all for spreading the knowledge of both the ancients and the newest apothecaries or alchemists or students, and any sort of discoveries we do wish to show to the world and broaden our understanding of the place that we live. So we have nothing to hide, of course. There's nothing that you should not learn if we also learn, and I'm certainly helpful, or certainly glad, really, that you're so helpful in coming here to tell us about these things." She starts kind of unrolling a couple of scrolls, and Flicker kind of again flickers and ends up on the table, and then in kind of a large potted plant on the edge of the room, and she doesn't even seem to notice his absence. And she says, "Well, let's see what we can find. I have my old notes on what Sonia and Alina told me many years ago about these spore assassins. Terrible, terrible thing, really. Mostly, yes, the same thing about the fire and their use of it. And spores, yes. They told me that there was perhaps somebody who would send these creatures, but they theorized that there was a central, maybe not breeding ground, but a growing ground, a place of growth for this fungus. But I'm unsure of a specific place." And she kind of goes through her notes. I need each of you to roll a percentile die, please.
50.
Okay. Ooh, the chonky.
83.
Okay.
36.
Okay. and as she's kind of looking and doing some reading, Danny, you peer over to a different parchment and you very quickly skim it. But it appears to be written in Sylvan, which is a language you understand. And there is something of note here. You pick up words that you had seen before, and it's kind of hard for you to kind of place where you had seen them. But the connection kind of grows fairly quickly as you realize that there's the word rot. The word rot stands out to you. And it's also noted that there's something about the Fae as well. Let's see. Why is it being broken? That's fine. Stand by. I don't know why I'm having such trouble with this. It is being a pain in the ass. I'm trying to tell you what else. It is just not like not loading. That's cool. It's fine. It's not like I wanted to, educate you guys on things.
When's the last time you restarted your computer?
This morning.
I don't know then.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's all I had.
But that is okay. You know what? That's fine. I'll just try something else. But yes, and come on now. There we go.
Well, you.
Yes, the words that do stand out to you are Fey and Rot, the Fey Rot kind of together. And you remember seeing that in the ledgers that you had taken from the Quickthorn family. But the rest of it is relatively garbled. It's like the writings are very partial, almost like they had either been destroyed or damaged. But that's kind of what stands out to you. And to Cyra, there's another writing. This time, rather than in Sylvan, your education in Abyssal seems to come in handy, as it talks about some terrible fungus that had been not necessarily of like a hellish origin, but of a otherworldly, other planar origin that has a source, but it's very vague. It's almost like whoever wrote this down didn't want the knowledge of this thing, whatever this fungus is, to be lost, but also don't want it to be found necessarily. But it seems to be that its grasp over fire is not granted necessarily by magic. It seems to be something that is inherent to this creature. And then Azalea, you're just kind of peering through a document, and you're peering through actually the apothecary's old notes is what it seems to be. It seems to be her handwriting, just based on she kind of put the slate down on the table, kind of match it up pretty quick. And it talks about how there was there's mention of a lich that was in control of it at some point that Sonia and Alina dispatched. But it notes that the lich had sent one of these creatures after them, and they barely made it out alive. But it seems to be many, many years ago. Even the ink here is fairly well faded. But it doesn't talk about anything, maybe where this place is. But it does note that there is some sort of central place where these creatures are like grown and then controlled from. And when this lich was destroyed, they were unable to gather that information and couldn't find this place. So it seems that Sonia and Alina have stuck to their story over the years and haven't passed on any new knowledge to you guys anyway. But those are the things that you kind of just like that kind of stand out to you as you're reading. And she's kind of like going back to the shelf as you guys kind of pick this up. She doesn't say anything really as she's kind of looking for more documents. You guys want to share with each other?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't learn anything new, so.
Did we know it was a lich already?
You did not know that. They just said they killed the
Oh.
controller, whoever it was.
Okay. Yeah, guess it was a lich. interesting.
The
Undead guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's also
gross.
a lot of talk about rot and the Fae in some of these documents.
Yeah, it seems like maybe the fungus is, otherworldly, other planar. Don't know what the source is. So again, document seems intentionally vague.
And as you kind of say these things, she comes back to the table. Fox comes back to the table and she says, "Yes, that seems to be what I had kind of gathered. That this is a very strange subject. Certainly, I've kind of pointed towards the words "fey" and other interplanar suggest that it perhaps came from the first world, from where fey creatures originally come from. Fairies and sprites and other worse things. There are more terrible things in that plane. I, of course, don't know how it got here, but there are references to these spore assassins or fungus monsters. There are no real names for these. I think spore assassins kind of what stuck with Alina, and well, that's what we're operating by anyway. But we plan to, of course, make sure this information is known. We've relatively put this together. But it's interesting to say that it harnessed fire. They had their doubts about whether it was just fire resistant or if fire made it stronger, and it seems that with your experimentation, Eodan, that perhaps then they indeed are either melded with fire or use it for themselves and gain strength from it. And it's interesting that one is here and was able to. This is the first I have heard of one perhaps being able to explode corpses and spread spores. That is new to me. Perhaps the others left it out when we talked about it many years ago, or perhaps I just forgot. I am getting up there in years.
It also called us thieves. Wouldn't really know why they would do that. Are we on their land or something?
And looking at her, you realize that she's certainly not like elderly, but she's like in her 50s. She's older, and she seems concerned. They spoke to you. What they said? They called you. How did it speak to you?
In my head, it wasn't like a verbal thing. It was like a, brain thing.
Telepathy, kind of a.
That is concerning, especially Cyra. You mentioning that they are changing. As many plants and animals on this world continually evolve, there are many that evolve with unnatural means, be it alchemical or magical, and this does not bode well if there are these creatures. My understanding is that they have a singular purpose until their controller changes or until the source is, well, I presume if the source is destroyed, that there would be no more of these creatures. But perhaps whoever controls this has, well, either mistaken you for something or believes you have stolen something. Whether you have or not, I am not here to judge. I am just trying to find facts.
Well, who is most interested in getting rid of these things? I mean, is this actually a problem for the local area, or what is going on here?
Well, it certainly is a problem now that it has killed citizens of my city. Well, my city, our city, I suppose. But no, that it is now a public danger. Now, I have no qualms with you staying here, but if more of these creatures come to attack you, then I would certainly hope that you would find somewhere to at least be where they're not hurting other people. I'm not sure if these exploded corpses are just to spread its spores or perhaps to lure others into traps. I'm unsure. It seems to have some sort of intellect on its own.
Do you think it's really coming for us? Or, I mean, you've dealt with these before. You've got notes here.
Yes, well, based on the evidence that I have from the other adventurers and at the inn that I had spoke to a long time ago, it seemed that they had crossed this lich at some point. Well, of course, they were trying to kill it, right? It is a lich. It is evil. So, yes, it is perhaps more likely than not that it is coming for you folks.
I want to make sure I understand. You said you think it might be from the first world. When you say that, do you mean it originated there, or you think its breeding ground is there? Like, do we need to go to the first world to destroy the breeding ground? Or is there perhaps its little home growth here in the material plane.
And she seems to think for a moment, and then she kind of pulls and she goes back to the wall of scrolls, and she pulls out another one. She comes back, and she lays out a map, and it's a map of the continent. But this is not a map that any of you have ever seen. There are strange lines kind of crisscrossing the continent, and notably, some of them are like solid, and some of them are not. But there is you all kind of note that there's a confluence of lines in what appears to be like Ravardare. There's a confluence of lines in what appears to be maybe the Ashlands, maybe. And then there's a couple of other ones that seem to be like not specific. Let's see. I just want to make sure that there's not any other ones that I'm missing while I'm looking at this. But yeah, that seems to be. Okay. Yep, that's what I got for you. And there seems to be one in. It looks like the town of Grigio. Like there's no actual labels here. They're just lines, like just drawings, and they're very like curved lines. Maybe more accentuated by the fact this is a flat map and not a globe.
Would I know what these are based on Arcana skill?
You could do an Arcana check, sure.
Ooh, delightful.
Boop. Man,
Don't
this
suck.
die. This
Wow.
is the opposite of Naughty Dice Jam. This is a good one.
I rolled a 1.
Oh, you have no idea.
Lines! They're pretty.
28.
These. So you had done much reading before you kind of came back to the surface, and these are not, and from your just vast knowledge of the Duper Hell, this is not the Duper Hell. These are not the crazy, strange tunnels carved by both goblins and dwarves and other strange things in the dark. These are not roads either. These are not borders that you recognize, but these, you recognize that each one of those areas, for certain, has different magics associated. These are probably ley lines, confluences of ley lines, like channelized magical energy that may be under the ground, maybe like metaphysical, like laying over the plane. You're not really sure, but they appear to be ley lines.
So these ley lines on this map mean anything?
And she looks surprised, and she smiles, and she says, "Well, I would perchance take a guess that they do in fact mean something. If there's any sort of overlay with other planes, I would suggest that the confluence of ley lines in certain places on the continent, whether confirmed or not, lend a certain ease to crossing planar boundaries. I would suggest to you that if this thing did in fact cross over recently or whenever, it came from one of these places. Now, there are other, of course, she points out kind of the dotted lines, places that I have not personally confirmed. These places, these cities, Chuvarum, Grigio, and Necroy, I have personally confirmed that these places are in fact confluences of ley lines. But the other places I have only heard. I cannot prove to you anything. This knowledge is maybe not widespread.
How do you confirm a ley line?
I have
Confluence.
seen the confluences of these ley lines. There is just greater magic of both the arcane and divine sense in these places. They are much stronger. But there is also something kind of tying these places together. Black obelisks, floating stones that are built in or maybe the cities or towns are built around these floating stones. But these obelisks are like almost like a volcanic glass. They are four-sided. They are pyramidal on the top and bottom, but they float and gently rotate. But magic seems to go either awry or is stronger. Sometimes fizzles in these places. But on certain days, it is my understanding, mostly from folk tales and stories, that these places are they bring luck. They bring luck to people. But it's a balance. Anything that is good can also be evil, and there's sometimes times of great strife or great discontent or just poor luck around these places. Sometimes there's a place in Ravardare, the that where wizards and sorcerers are and other casters are paid um, by the how do I want to put it? Paid by the Lord Baron there, for example, to do magical research around this place. And the Hall of Enchanters, Scholars, and Flagons is the place where they do these. There's a lot of mixing of alcohol and magic. It's honestly just a poor thing. But a good half of the city was leveled some years ago, maybe 89, 90 years ago, when they did an experiment on the obelisk, and just it was a massive explosion that leveled a good half of the city. Now there's a big buffer zone built there, and the spell was just a regular old fireball, but it seemed that it was enhanced greatly by, well, this obelisk or perhaps the ley lines beneath it. So that is really how you can
And
tell.
the Ashlands had like a solid line, so she had confirmed it, right?
Based on what she's saying and what you're seeing on the map, yes.
What was the third city? It was
Grigio.
Necroi. I had Grigio
and
and
Chuvarum. Chuvarum
Varum.
is in Ravardare. It's on the eastern border there.
I just spelled it very wrong. It's fine. I have the map. I will fix.
But yes, that seems to be where those ley lines are.
How the fuck did she get in and out of the Ashlands?
Are you going to ask her that?
Unofficial business. They let people in.
is that stuff was like allowed?
Are you? Are you like?
I suppose. No, it's fine. I don't need to bring up that place. It's gross. I don't want to go there. We're fine.
This is
Just
still a
making
mystery
note.
that we're currently putting together, but I would suggest that you or whatever you may or may not have done, perhaps this creature will continue to come after you. But I would suggest looking at any of these places to maybe confirm where they are or what's happening.
Perhaps an idea, or at least you can give me give us, an idea who this person is. But it sounds as though they who flourish recently graduated and wants an escort to Ravardare. What kind of a traveling companion would that be? And could we maybe use that as a mechanism to drive us to Ravardare at a confluence of ley lines?
So it's definitely like a little bit of a hard right turn and then immediately back on track, and she keeps a very smooth composure, and she just smiles and says, "Oh yes, they who flourish. They were a fairly good student. Had their stumbling blocks, of course, but they've been around for quite some time. Nature spirits and all that. They have a long memory. Yes, I think they would be relatively helpful to you, at least for the healing arts. They weren't much of an alchemy student, very much more focused on the healing art. Yes, of course, they have been looking for a companion for a few days. It only came to my attention as I saw it on the board downstairs. I don't really keep track of my students, to be honest with you, once they've graduated. We don't really assign apothecaries anywhere, but generally speaking, students will go back to where they grew up or came from or what have you. But if they have places that they really wish to go to help others, then we don't stop them. And I believe they are from Ravardare, so they will be quite happy to get some companions such as yourselves, if that is what you're offering.
Well, and do you seek to gain anything out of this other than just getting us out of your town? Can we bring you something? Can we? Is there something that you can benefit from us pursuing this? Because it looks like you care. You have maps and you've studied this. I just.
As the head apothecary of the school, I'm a very busy woman and I can't go traipsing around the country anymore, even though I wish I could. Well, my What you could do for me? I suppose I could collect any information that you find, anything that you send, or anything that you could send to me, by bird or by whatever magic you wish. Um, I would love any sort of information on this creature. I understand that it harms people, but uh, I don't really understand if it's truly evil or not. I don't know if it's something that is choosing to do this or is being controlled and forced into doing it. These are things that I would love to know before destroying perhaps a one-of-a-kind creature or evolving life form. Um, uh, I could pay you for any information that you get to me, though I, of course, will gladly take donations of knowledge. Um, I could, of course, speak with the Temple of Strenger and their scribes and their scroll keepers for perhaps if there's any more information there. But if you are on your way to Bergham, that is where they are headquartered. They might know more, and even the Adventurers Guild there might know more. It is possible that if trying to find more about this fungus, you may learn more on the way. I only ask that if you do get into a fight with this creature, draw it, if there are more, just draw it away from people. You have done well, I think, from what I heard. I think it had harmed those other people before it got to you.
Money is not of great importance to us. We're well off, but loyalty, trust, and friends in the world is definitely worth quite a bit to us. So if we could build a mutual relationship, then of course we'll send you whatever we can, with the understanding that there's trust there. If you get what I mean.
And she seems to think for a moment, and then you all watch it kind of click in her head. It's just, yes, well, I tend not to discriminate on base of somebody's appearance or their where they were born or how. But I understand that your journey would potentially take you through Sharith Aptisa, and she actually looks around for just a second, nervous clearly, and she says the Inquisition is strongly opinionated on certain people, and let me here I will promise you this. I will write you a writ of protection that you three are under the protection of the Scola Medicinae and head apothecary Auxilia Fox, and hopefully you will not be harmed. I will make no promises, but my word is very well highly regarded by the abbess. I think that if the Inquisition were to take you and find this letter, I think they would find that there would be some consequences, I suppose, for those actions. Is that enough for your exchange, excuse me?
Of course, it makes us more able to travel. Azalea, Sarah, do you have anything to add?
This has been a very educational meeting. Thank you so much.
As you thank her, Flicker the boa flickers onto your shoulders. She is heavier than you. He is heavier than you are, and your knees begin to buckle as he flickers away back onto the apothecary's shoulders. Azalea, do you have anything to say?
No.
Okay. She says, well, you know what I'll do is I will write this for you. Please go wait downstairs with Adamar will take care of you. There are some smaller waiting rooms or classrooms that you can wait in and get some refreshments while I write up your writ and seal it properly. That should take less than an hour, of course. Is there anything else you'd wish to discuss before we leave?
One thing. Do you happen to have any mutagens? Potential. I'm kind of limited on my expertise. Any place that sells formulas that might include mutagens in their repertoire.
Well, she seems to think. No, we are more focused on the healing art than we are in perhaps forced evolution of creatures. Dwarf people. A lot of those sorts of experiments are rather frowned upon. I don't know of any place here, but the ooh goodness, Ravardere, the Hall of Enchanters, Scholars, and Flagons, probably has less stringent morals. They would.
No, I understand.
You could tell as you kind of asked that question, she got a little colder. She was a little more warm and open to you guys, and she kind of immediately kind of shut down a little bit.
I only ask because we have no, we're three physically weak folks. So trying to hedge our bets on survival.
And she actually, you notice over in the corner of the room, there's kind of by all the books and stuff like that, there's another desk that kind of lines up to where the door is. And on that place, there's a like a tea kettle almost. And she says, just a moment. And she kind of steps over to it, and you see that there's a small bowl there and some steaming water, and she reaches over, she takes some leaves, and she kind of casts it into the bowl, and she looks at it for a moment. And then she turns around, and she says, I think you will be all right. I do not think that you'll have any particularly terrible issues upon the road as you travel. They who flourish will protect you, and I foresee that there is something more in your future, perhaps, that may shore up your physicalities, as it were. She's being quite serious, but she's still trying to not giggle. There's something, maybe a little magical backlash or something. You're not really sure. Whatever she just did, but it seems to kind of have thrown her off a little bit, and she kind of like is a little woozy clearly, and she holds onto the desk and she says, "Please, if you'll go, I'll get you that writ. Just wait downstairs."
Okay. Yep. Let's go.
So as you guys kind of open the door and step out, Adamar is, even though he was told to wait, like go away, he's like waiting by the door. And we'll take a 10-minute break. Go get some drinks, hit the head, food, whatever. Yes. At 45. So at this point, you guys have been kind of dismissed from the apothecary's office. And you guys are now escorted downstairs by Adamar, the student working the front desk. He says, "Please, just wait here, where I could get a separate waiting room for you. If you want any coffee or tea or any foods, I could provide anything, whatever you need. It would be some time. You could feel free to explore the grounds as well. I could come get you. Should." And he just kind of like loses his train of thought.
That was what's his name?
Adamar, yeah, the
Adamar.
receptionist student.
And we're waiting still for the writ.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. I mean, we'd explore, but we don't want to get too far. I mean, where is there someplace cool we should go? Something we should see?
Oh, yes, of course. We could take you to the auditorium. Yes, come with me. And he kind of gestures down the main hallway on the first floor again, and he kind of hurries that way. In the sense that he's like almost like a puppy. He's like, yeah, I'm doing a great job. I'm gonna do the great, yeah. And it's totally different than all of his normal receptionist bullshit. So you know what? It's great. He's having a great time. And he takes you down to this kind of this large open space, just kind of what you would expect an auditorium to be. It's kind of a half circle of rows of seating that go kind of up above you and down a little bit. You're kind of on like this place. The building only has three floors, but it looks like this auditorium has 4. It's like they actually dug underground a little bit to get an extra set of seats. And there's a large stage, and it's got, it looks like you could do actual shows here, like performances. But also you realize the stage is not made out of wood; it is made out of stone. and it's covered in like scorch marks. um, there's clearly been like bursts of fire that have gone wrong in this place, and the curtains, rather than looking like cloth, they almost look like shimmering metal. As if this whole place seems to be like fireproof, at least this room. Some of the seating is covered in just like some comfy cushioning, but like for the most part, this place is mostly stone and metal. And you can see that it's mostly dark in here right now. But he says, "Oh, just a moment. Let me. There's no classes or anything scheduled for the next hour or so, or lectures or whatnot. But let me turn on the turn on the lights." And he gestures to a couple of switches. Rather than he's not even like flicking actual switches. He's just kind of gesturing in front of some sort of arcane sigils on the wall, and you can see these crystals, this kind of yellowish orange crystals, begin to glow as you can see these tall and long chandeliers, very large kind of shapes of wrought metal, wrought iron. Some of them are gold, some of them are silver, very much just kind of casting out prisms of light. And you can see that there's some up higher. There's like the rafters. There's definitely like directional lights up there, but those aren't on. It's a very soft glow. It's a very comfortable glow in here. And although this is clearly some academic space, and the seats don't look terribly comfortable, you would bet there's plenty of students who fall asleep in here. Each of them has a little kind of fold-out desk that you can kind of set up and take notes on, and some of the seating has a little bit more room down towards the bottom. There's a pit. There's even a pit for like an orchestra if that were to need to happen for whatever reason. You're not really entirely sure what this school does at this point. this is kind of throwing you off a little bit.
For the band kids.
Yeah, for the band kids, the people who play the fennel and the bottles. they play the jugs. But yes, so you can see that the walls are covered in just in religious iconography and paintings of. You can see that there are angelic figures, both the kind of standard humanoid form with the two wings and kind of the halo, but you also see the ones that are like wheels of eyes and wings, and there are you can see that there are different stars and constellations painted up toward the ceiling, but not quite on the ceiling, kind of toward the back. You can see there are mythical creatures painted up there. There are, I say mythical, they're not even really truly mythical. At least for you guys, you've never seen a Hydra, but you know Hydras are real. But there are other alchemical beasts like chimeras, a creature with the head of a lion and of an eagle and of a goat and the tail of a scorpion and wings of the eagle and stuff like that. And there are other just strange monsters and creatures, and there are other clerics, some saintly-looking people. You can see that there's a dwarf out there. There's a big golden dragon up there. You can see that there's other paintings of just scenes of like post scenes of like a battlefield after the battle has actually finished, of clerics both healing the living and saying last rites over the dead and things of that nature. You really could spend hours trying to find the minutia of whatever's in these murals, and they're like massive on the walls, both to your left and right and behind you. And you expect there's some of the curtain is closed on the far end on the stage, but you could bet that there's probably stuff behind backstage as well. And Adamar says, "Oh well, you have a free range. Just try not to go backstage. I know there's some experimental areas where people planning on showing their projects and whatnot. I would just rather not get anybody hurt. I'll be at the reception desk waiting for your writ to come through, and then I will come get you. Or if you need anything, you can come get us. Do you need anything to drink? Anything to eat? Reading materials I could try to provide you. If not, then that's fine too."
You mentioned coffee?
Yes, of course. I can go. Do each of you want one, or just you?
Coffee. Is it? I don't think I've had a lot of coffee. Yeah, I'll try that.
Oh, okay, okay. And he just kind of like looks to Azalea for an answer.
Tea.
Okay. He just kind of like scurries off, kind of leaving you to your own devices. There's nobody else in here as far as you guys can see.
What a squirrely kid.
Uh, yeah. Just waiting for coffee at this point.
Yeah.
Kind of speechless.
Sounds like it.
Obviously.
It doesn't take him more than 4 or 5 minutes, and he comes hurrying back with a tray of 3. They're just very simple, just black mugs. He says, just be careful. They're quite hot. It's supposed to give you energy. I do apologize. It is a little bitter. He kind of just offers a mug to each person. Kind of holds the tray up here. He's kind of like waiting for his. He steps back and watching you.
Thank you.
And he nods and says, "Oh, you're very welcome." He's not moving. He's just waiting until somebody drinks it.
I'm gonna try it. Just get after it.
It is strong. It is like, even for, you've had coffee once or twice, and no, this shit is like, espresso shit, but like a full cup of it. Like, it's brutal. It's not that good, but like it'll keep you going.
I suspect this is gonna create a bowel movement, if you know what I mean.
And he just chuckles. He says, I
That wasn't a euphemism.
I didn't want to.
You know what I mean.
I didn't want to make it too weak. I was afraid somebody of your stature would be more used to stronger drinks, so I didn't want to disappoint you. But okay, well, if you need, and he just kind of gestures. There's a room just outside of the auditorium. There are restrooms for you to use here. Yeah. And he's kind of like, and he just scurries back to his desk.
Is he out? Is he gone now?
Yeah, he's gone.
Sufficiently? Okay. No, this is way better than my plan. I was like, if Danny's thing doesn't work, I'm going to see if they need someone to like take something to Sharif. Because I'm going to be like, well, I just bought this cart, big fancy cart, but my teammate left me, was stuck with a job. And so I was like, maybe that'll do. But it seemed weird to go like right from one pitch to another. But this is great.
So maybe about 30 minutes or so goes by, and it's quiet. Nobody disturbs you, at least until you see a little thing moving on stage, kind of coming out from behind the curtain, kind of moving towards you. It looks kind of like not that you've ever seen a pangolin, but you guys have read about pangolins. It looks kind of like a pangolin. It's got a little wooden staff, and it's moving towards you, but it's a brilliant shade of green and a little bit of purple. And you all recognize this as a leshy. And it's a leshy. He's a little pangolin. He calls out, excuse me, are you all the travelers that are going north? He's just
We are.
just getting up the stairs slowly. He's very small.
What size is the creature?
I mean, he's technically small. He's just bigger than tiny. Or
Okay.
they, excuse me, are just bigger than tiny. And they're
Small end of small.
the small end of small, maybe like 2.5, 3-ish feet tall, somewhere in there. If they could like really stand up tall, but kind of their shape lends more to a kind of hunched sort of movement. Yes, I am they who flourish. I am planning on going north. I am hopeful to be a good companion to you all. I was told to come meet you here.
We're looking forward to traveling with you.
Yes, of course. And you realize that they have a small pack on their back, and they reach into it and pull out a coin purse that is larger than the pack. um,
Fancy.
yes. I was told there was three of you. Yes, of course. Just he kind of like reaches out and like just kind of Cyra, you happen to be the closest. They hand over up the bag of coins.
Well, thank you. We'll get this distributed.
It's 100 gold coins per person.
I'm not going to count it.
I'm just telling you that's what it is,
Yeah.
so you can put it in your inventories.
Yeah.
Dragon, you're all fucking
You mean I'm going
fuzzy.
to put 300 pieces in my inventory?
Yeah. Nope.
Right.
Nothing. That's okay.
All right.
Yes. So you.
I will. Just kidding.
Bye.
Yep. He's
Okay,
trying to get his. There you go.
bye.
His camera's all fucky wookie. You're good. It's much better. Yes.
I'm not going to do it now, but I will spread it all out later. Just that would
Okay.
be a weird thing to do in the middle of conversation.
I'm certainly willing. I don't know how far you're all willing to go, but yes. Well, I'm ready to go whenever you are. I understand that you're waiting on some things, and you might want to spend some time in town. But you can find me here if you need me. I just kind of stay backstage there. I have a little greenhouse attached to the back end that I kind of stay in. But now that I've graduated, and rather than like a full-on robe like other apothecaries, they have almost like a collar, just kind of a white, like half cape. It's really weird. It's just it's a piece of cloth that goes over like around their neck and shoulders that would go down to maybe like here. It's just a little bit of white cloth. But that seems to give their station as an apothecary. They've graduated.
Sorry, I'm looking at more pictures of the leshy pangolin.
Oh,
Cute.
yes, they are quite cute. Cool.
Look at
All right. So,
so cute.
as they kind of handed out the money or gave Cyra the bag there, you can ask them questions, or they seem to be the sort to just introduce themselves and step aside and not try to bother anybody. And they take a seat, just kind of look at the stage, and their eyes are two little black like beads, and you can't really tell where they're looking or what they're looking at or if they're looking at anything at all.
Hang on.
You can see that their hands and feet are kind of like gnarled roots almost.
I just found the cutest little fan art. I'm sorry.
Pangolins are very cute.
Very cute. Okay, I'm sorry. I focus now.
Is there anything you want to talk to them about in the next time, or just kind of fast forward?
I don't have anything.
Nope, I got nothing.
Okay.
Is there a reason you need an escort, or just because you're like small and there's a lot of big things?
It's twofold really. Yes, I am quite small. I would have trouble defending myself, as I'm more focused in the healing arts rather than the art of war. But also, it would take a while for me to move anywhere really on foot. And I figured if I had an escort, they would, well, be willing to carry me. I'm not particularly heavy, or else at the very least, have a cart or a draft animal or something.
We got a big
So
cart.
Speed was the problem. Okay,
Yes,
just making sure we
speed and-
weren't like going somewhere super dangerous.
Well,
I'm gonna look over at Danny.
the roads are not exactly the safest anyway. It's a long journey. I got down here by hopping along on caravans, and well, now that I'm graduated, I've got a little bit more money to be able to pay folks like yourselves to get home. So it's a little too warm here for me anyway. It's about time I head back.
What languages do you speak?
I roll a diplomacy check.
21. Sorry, math is hard.
Math is hard indeed. Okay, give me just a second to make sure that I don't miss any. They speak. We're going to be rude about it, aren't we? That's fine. They say, well, I certainly speak Common. I speak Sylvan as well.
Perfect. That's all we needed. We have a really funny mule. I
Oh,
think you'll like him.
a funny
His name is
mule.
Calvin.
Yep. What an interesting
Yep.
name.
Same.
Well,
That's what I said.
there are many creatures in this world that have strange names. Some would consider my name quite strange. They who flourish. It's not a normal. They try to think of a way to put it, and they just kind of settle on, well, a meaty name. Meat, is I don't really have that, so very planty names. But yes, I was hoping to, for a safe escort down the roads these days, and well, if you have another companion I can talk to, then that's excellent. Oh, do I have to? You said he was a mule?
Not convinced he's not polymorphed, but he swears he's not polymorphed.
I think he's a donkey, isn't he?
No, he's a mule.
Know. Is he?
He's a mule. You insulted him earlier, and he didn't even react.
Sorry, I can't tell the difference. He looks like a donkey to me. But
No, he's definitely a mule.
They just look between the three of you. They're like actively moving their heads. You can tell that they're looking between the three of you. They just kind of like
hey,
shrug.
what?
Look at me. I
what-
just got horses.
2 big ones.
What did
Normal
you-
horses.
Totally normal horses.
When
What'd you
did I
study? What'd you study here? What'd you study?
Well, I studied the healing arts mostly. And anything involving healing magics, both divine and well, the arcane creation of healing potions and elixirs, that sort of thing.
Do you know much about fungus?
Do I know much about fungus? I suppose I do in the sense that I am adjacent to fungus. What questions do you have? I could try my best to educate you.
No, not a lot right now. I was just asking, just in general familiarity with topics. I'm actually an alchemist of limited, but significant renowned and ability. But we'll definitely, yeah, you'll be safe with us.
Make a society check.
14.
Seems
Uh,
fake,
no,
but
15,
okay.
25, 29.
They just smile and well, I'm certainly glad to be with such strong individuals.
I mean, I didn't graduate from school like you did. I mean, it's still different education, kind of self-taught as it were, but and probably more violent than the stuff you learned. But whatever.
Oh,
We'll
well.
be fine.
There are no truly self-taught students. You're always guided in some way or another, but I understand. And they just kind of smile and
Yeah, not a response. That's fine.
very, very lightly, they have a staff. They very lightly just poke you in the center of the chest with it as they kind of say this. And they step away and turn and kind of just look at the room, really. And then Adamar shuffles in. He says, well, my friends, sir, I'm so sorry. That was a little informal of me. I do apologize. Sir, Aodan, I have your writ here. I have copies for each of you. I understand that you're all companions and whatnot. Here, and he just hands 3 like sealed scrolls, stamped. They have a tower with a shield and olive branches on it. The religious symbol of Svas. Well, this hopefully should do. One of you a copy of each. That way, just in case. The road can be a terrible place. But yes. Is there anything else that I can do for you before you get to go? What is your time frame? Are you leaving now? Are you staying overnight? They who flourish is obviously here. Good afternoon, apothecary. It is good to see you, and it is Good to see you too, child. It has been some time. How are your studies? Oh, my studies are going very well. Sir Aodan has provided me with some valuable insight and suggestions. I'm very glad that you are traveling together. He is certainly an alchemist of some renown, and clearly knows his craft. they kind of look between Adamar and Danny and just kind of smile and nod. As I said, I will be here. You can send young Adamar to come get me, or we can leave now. Whatever you wish.
What time of day is it?
It's probably like 1 or 2 in the afternoon now.
How are we on food and water and like gear?
Provisions?
Do we need to stock up before we go?
I'm good.
You were given
Yeah.
quite a bit
Ten-
for the animals as well.
So
That's
we're
right,
good for
yeah.
the animals. We could just buy some dry food stuffs.
By the time we
Right.
get back to the hotel,
Some
or
manly food stuffs.
there
Oh,
you
yeah.
go.
Yes, manly food stuff.
Somebody just killed me. It's like third-hand embarrassment. Like it's fine.
At least you didn't read it. I had to read it.
Anyway, so yes, there are some stores that you could stop at, if you wished. Mostly, the general goods store.
I didn't get that last joke.
That's okay. You don't have to be read into it. It's
You
fine.
don't
Please
want
don't.
to
You
know
don't
it.
want it. Anyway, so you guys recall that there's the general goods store. There's that there's some sort of smithy. You had heard that there's some kind of other equipment shop, and then the magic shop as well. So you have other places to stop if you wanted to.
I guess I don't know. I probably don't need anything, but maybe we should leave in the morning versus getting back and setting up the horses and all that and leaving in the evening.
Yeah, in
Or-
my mind, it seems wise to leave in the morning.
Or maybe we should go because there's fungus. I like fungus. Yeah. Anyway.
Roll a deception check.
Nat 20.
Nice!
Nice.
Even
Hey, you know what?
I believe you like fungus. Well, the lie wasn't for me.
It's a 28.
Wait, well, if it's a natural 20, it'd be a 38, good sir.
Oh, yeah,
Unless
there
you
you go,
have
38,
some
38.
negatives.
You
know
know,
about?
negative
Nope,
a lot.
38,
Negative
38.
2. Yeah, okay.
38.
Okay. Cool. And they just kind of look at you and, okay. Yeah, then, sir, I will be here in the morning. I promise you that. And I'm sure I'll be sure to. Yes. I'll be here in the morning. Okay. And he's like, he doesn't know what to say anymore, and he wants to say more because he wants to
how
keep it going.
Is this? Oh no! Is this the Adam character?
Yeah.
Or is this
Adamar
They
is the
Who
one that
Flourish?
keeps talking.
Adamar. No,
Yeah, Adamar.
No,
Yep.
I have nothing for Adamar.
They Who Flourish is just kind of sitting there though. Just kind
How
of
much
nods.
space will you need in our wagon?
Oh, well, I have everything on me, so
Oh, all right.
I'm gonna be like probably that much space.
Well, they mentioned they have a greenhouse.
Yes. Well, I was just staying in the greenhouse, really.
Oh, I see. I see.
It's a lot easier for folk such as myself to stay with the other plants. It's feels a little more homey, even if it is a bit warm sometimes. But yes, I will. I'll meet you here in the morning, and I'll be ready to go.
Perfect.
And they kind of just start walking slowly because of their size, slowly down the auditorium steps back towards the stage. And Adamar says, "Well, is there anything else I can help you with before I go back to my duties?"
We are so good. Thank you.
Okay. Will looks a little disappointed. He says, well, this way, if you please. kind of escorts you out back to the front door. Please travel safely. I will see you in the morning when you come pick up They Who Flourish. He kind of just like waves. Yeah, you guys head back to the front, just kind of leaving Adamar standing there, like now he's a lost puppy. And the singular weight of his actual job sets in. He just kind of turns and walks back to his desk as you get back to Noodle and to Calvin and to who's the other one? Clover. Thank you. I was like, it's a C word. I couldn't think of it. They seem, at least the horses seem relatively happy to see you. Calvin is just kind of eyeing all of you. Just doesn't say anything though.
I'm gonna
Not a
try
boat.
Not a boat. Hey, Calvin.
Yeah. What?
We're going somewhere, and you're coming with us.
Not a
We're
boat.
going somewhere. That's not a boat.
Yep.
Yep.
Not over the water.
Good enough. Where are we going?
Ravender.
Oh. That's cold. All right, fair
Well,
enough.
We don't have to go all the way. We might. We'll see.
Sure. Okay.
Did we see where those ley lines crossed? Like in Ravender? Do I know where I'm trying to get to?
Chuvarim.
Yeah, basically, like,
The
there's
eastern city.
Sharif, Grigio, and Shuvarim, like, almost in a line. Kind of a little slightly curved. No, basically like a line.
I don't see Chuvarim. I see Enith.
TJUVAR.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Chuvarim.
Threw me off as well.
Yep, I know.
Struggled with that one.
Yep.
Yep.
Sweet.
Now, yeah, so Chuvarim, Grigio, and Necroy were the three cities that you saw that had ley line intersections.
Sweet.
But, he wants to go to Bergam, which is the capital, because that's where he's from. And you guys are at least heading to Sharif to go talk to Chak.
Balarka.
Yes.
What's Nordhepicum? Is that
That
is there anything crazy about that place?
you can roll a society check.
North
I suppose?
Equishire?
Boop.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Nordhepicum.
Yep.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That was
It's-
uncharitable of me.
It is the country. It's in blue to the west of Sharif, to the east of Ravadair.
Yep. The
27.
one we'd have to pass through.
Okay, so from the readings that you have done, let me tell you a little bit about Nordhepicum. Okay.
Mainly that you don't have anything written for it.
That is
That's
not the
not
case.
true.
I have to go find my notes. So it is the full title of the country is the Enith Princedom and Noble Territories of Nordhepicum,
Can't believe you didn't put that on the map.
shortened to Nordhepicum. Let's see. Yep. So it's always been kind of a stopping point for travelers, just kind of going east and west, right? It's south of the Northman's Chain, which is all those mountains, volcanoes, and it is obviously east of the Dragontooth Mountains. And Ravardare has always been a territory that has been kind of a inhospitable place to a lot of folks. It's very cold, and it's just a very difficult journey traversing that area, especially before it was really settled. That was really the only way you could get out to the west, unless you went around the mountains, and a lot of people didn't think it was worth the time. So it's always been considered like that first or last stop, depending on which way you're going. Let's see. Yeah, so there's not really much of a place. Like, most people aren't citizens necessarily of that place. It's just a lot of people moving in and out. There's just so much of a moving mass of people. The people who settle there are really like innkeepers or anybody like merchants will settle there. Mostly just whoever can kind of ply their trade to help people keep moving. And it stayed neutral through most of the first and second era, really, until the third era, just before the third era, when the Emperor Teldair, the first Emperor, very politely asked Inith to join the fight against the Witches' Coven, who may or may not have had an army of dragon-mounted knights at his back. So but it is now famous.
Definitely a freely made decision.
Oh,
what
yeah.
we're gathering from this.
Absolutely.
Love that. Love that for them.
But mostly the whole region, especially the border region and the north, is famous for its mines, copper mines, and they mint quite a bit. Yes, they call it a mine. They rock a stone. Oh, it was very strong trade-wise until just maybe 20, 30 years ago when demon fever kind of ripped across the country. And then in 4E70, about 21 years ago, Prince Frederick Leopold Heckler, what's just kind of a petty nobleman, rose up. And he kind of put the resident imperial-appointed apothecary under house arrest, and he declared it independent from the rest of the rest of the Western imperial remnant. Today, however, the nation is kind of plagued by like bandits. Trade has gone severely down because of it, and Prince Heckler has hired you guys. This is kind of common knowledge from rumor and whatnot. The Company of the Tortoise. It's a mercenary company. He's trying to combat all of these bandits and banditry, so he can kind of get the trade back up and get people moving in and out of the country again. So he's doing his best to kind of clean that up. But if you guys are traveling west out of Sharith, you'd pass through Inith. Inith is a bigger city than both Sharith and Sereno. It's 56,000 people-ish. It has a mint at in the middle of the city where it mints coins. That though the country owns it, the Merchants Guild kind of runs it. The Merchants Guilds were the ones that actually kind of standardized coins across the continent. So that's really all you know about it. Waldfuss, to the south, was once a logging town, but in the Third Era they had a big peasant insurrection in the middle of the Empire, and it destroyed the entire nearby forest, so now it's back to plains. And the whole place was violently repressed, but now it's like vineyards and cotton in Rubia that they sell, and it's famous for its red textiles now. But yeah, that's kind of the overall breadth of knowledge that you've picked up from your reading, especially in the Temple of Stenenger, and just from what you'd heard on the street about Nordhapicum. So maybe a little bit hairy trying to get over that way, depending on how well the prince has taken care of things.
Yeah. Sweet.
Mm-hmm. You guys get your animals and start heading back towards the Shoreline Inn. Is there anywhere you want to stop on the way back, or are you just heading in to take a night's rest and then head out? Cool. Go ahead.
Wait. Do we have foodstuffs for our journey? We'll want at least 5 days, no less than, is my expectation. Just in case.
Yeah, I got 3 days of rations. I know we haven't really been keeping up. I haven't been keeping up with it that well.
You guys have been relatively well fed by ship crews and other people that you've been staying with, so you haven't really had to track it. This will be your first real overland journey outside of the Ashlands on your own. So
yeah, I mean we got a wagon. We should probably put a little extra in there. We could probably. I don't know how much food you guys have. I've got about 3 days worth, and it's kind of gross. But
hardtack, jerky.
Yeah. Yep.
Fungus.
Dried rat tails.
Checks out.
Several.
It's nutritious.
Oh. I'm gonna buy some stuff.
So there's Sereno General Goods.
Actually, I just realized. I'm sorry. I realized I have 8 days of rations, so I don't need to.
Okay. The other places probably don't carry that sort of thing. You might also be able to ask any of the inns and taverns that you're passing, or any of the street vendors. Maybe they might be able to sell you some kind of.
I can use society to subsist. Can I see if there's anything I can scrounge from any of those places? Not necessarily trash.
So subsisting will keep you alive for the current day, sort of deal.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, not interested. I'm good.
Not interested in staying alive for the current day.
Yeah, that's right.
Nope.
You've already subsisted on some rotten fruit.
Trash.
And it was still good for you.
Overripe,
Yeah.
but safe enough.
Yep. Goblins can, in fact, eat actual trash, and they'll be fine. They are the raccoons of the other races. So, Azalea, how are your goods?
I mean, I think I'm down to either 8 or 9.
Okay.
So still pretty good for what we need.
Mm-hmm. So really, it's Danny that needs some some food.
So I'm looking for seven days worth of rations and anything in particular, just in case this this wagon breaks, that I would know that we might need.
Just like an axle and another wheel or something like that. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, if there's something, something like that. Yeah.
Just so you guys know, we're playing Oregon Trail. This is what's happening.
Yep. This is Oregon Trail.
You're all
right
gonna
now.
die of dysentery.
Did I say Danny died
Yep.
of dysentery?
That'd be so gross.
Okay.
Goblin shit.
Yeah, if you want, we don't have to RP it necessarily,
Nasty.
but
Yeah,
could,
we don't have to RP it.
But we could just do the screen and then move
yeah.
on.
So
Next
you could
character.
you can do it'll be four silver pieces for a week's worth of rations.
Cool.
And then you could pay 10 gold pieces for an extra axle. It's a 3-axle wagon, and then that'll get you 2 extra wheels as well.
Cool. And those I am not going to carry in my inventory.
Yeah,
Wagon.
yeah. You don't think the axle's heavier than you are? Yeah, are you sure you don't want to carry it on your back?
No, thank you.
But yeah, okay. Yeah, so you spend that money, you're able to get those things, and you make it back to the shoreline. In
Am I riding Calvin around?
oh yeah, you are.
Okay.
I mean,
Does
do
he
you
have a saddle,
want
or
to?
am I just like?
No, he's got a saddle. He gave you like a saddle and other things of
Okay.
that nature.
Does he have a nice saddle blanket under it, or is it just
It's
kind of?
kind of a shitty one.
Can I buy him a fancy saddle blanket somewhere?
If you
Think I
want
can
if you
find
want
one
it
here?
if you want it fancy, yeah, it would be like a gold piece. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll buy him a fancy saddle blanket.
And you can choose however you want that to look like, because this place is large enough and has enough plants in it to have any sort of dyes that you might want.
Big fuzzy like fur lined, kind of on the inside to where it's kind of warm,
Uh-huh.
and then the outside is just has some nice black embroidery on a white background.
Sweet. Okay. Yeah, you're able to do that. Cool. Neato burrito. So you guys get back to the Shoreline Inn. You're able to buy those things. You can see Sonia is in the kind of just at the bar by herself. She's kind of sitting in her wheelchair. She's got like a small, I wouldn't call it a meal, like a snack of jerky, and Honey is half up on her lap. Just kind of, she's like feeding her bits and pieces. And you can see Alina, also kind of behind the bar, and she's got a big old thing of ale. And there's some other patrons in there, just kind of dinner time, just kind of eating. But there's been a lull, and so it seems that Alina's taking advantage of the lull to take a drink. And they see you come in and they wave, but don't really like call you over or anything like that.
I gotta check on the dog. Hold on.
Okay. Is there anything?
I was like, what dog?
Yeah. What dog? Who's got a dog?
When did a dog show up?
And he's kind of like a dog.
yeah, kind of a large, scary dog. It's okay. It's like every sea creature becomes crabs, every land mammal becomes weasels. That's just how it happens. And wolverines
Peak.
technically count. Mustelization.
Mustelization.
It's like carcinization. everything turns into crab. Carcinization.
Yes, everything is crab.
Everything is crap.
Crabs have evolved separately like 5 times, I think. And I think the same goes for weasels and weasel-like creatures. It's like 3 or 4 times.
Love that for
That's
them.
just peak predator, man. That's just how it is. Um, I don't know what the dog is doing, but that's okay. Is there anything you guys want to do um, while in the bar, other than presumably eat a meal? Do you guys just want to like go to bed and fast forward to the morning, or talk to anybody?
Personally, have
Um,
nothing.
yeah, I think I'm gonna go to bed and fast forward. I'll redo my alchemy at some point.
Prepare to
Change
fast
up,
forward.
change up my potions a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Ooh,
Uh,
what had happened?
what happened? What'd you break?
Field. Nope, that was a 5th level thing. Something changed. I was trying to think. I feel like I'm. Nope, I'm good. All right, we're good. Cool.
Is the dog okay?
Yeah, he was just wandering around and whining, so I opened up a few windows for him so he'd stop complaining.
Oh, okay.
The commander was, his dog went by, so he was a little upset.
Losing his mind.
Yep.
It was actually okay, but it's only because the blinds were closed. But now that he's passed, I figured he can go. He can go look outside again.
Okay, so the other two have decided that they're going to fast forward through the night.
Okay.
Is that what you want to do as well?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, the morning of the 20th is a Stranger day, and you guys
2 minutes.
all wake up well rested.
2 minutes.
No weird dreams. Nobody tries to kill you in the night.
This time.
No one accuses you of thievery or any such thing.
So hurtful.
And
And then explodes.
nothing. Yeah, Danny explodes all of a sudden.
That's quite possible.
You guys don't feel.
No. The kid that you gave advice to is probably going to explode.
Adamar is probably
I
going to
gave him
die.
a potion to protect him from fire, not to cause
There
fire.
is stuff that makes things glow. We don't need fire.
He was trying to kill himself. He's trying to like combine potions. The dude was gonna wind up dead anyway. I was trying to at least steer him the other way.
So, you guys are having this conversation over breakfast after you prepare your things.
Yeah.
Sonia is in the kitchen and she's clearly listening, but has no inputs on it. Alina is serving breakfast to other patrons, and now it's you guys have your breakfast. You're well rested, well fed. You have plenty of food and water.
Do we have enough food for like the animals?
Yeah, we were given food with them.
Yeah, you guys were given a week or something similar to that. I honestly don't recall.
Okay.
Or 5 days worth or something like that. But there was food for the animals, given to you.
Okay.
So you guys take the time to get the cart hooked up to the horses.
I drew 100 gold coins.
Yes, you each get 100 from
They Who
Flourish from the Leshy. And you guys get ready to head out. You guys get your Calvin set up, your Calvin set up. Head up to the Scuola Medicinae and pick up They Who Flourish, who at their word, it's just them and their little backpack, and they hop up with a surprising agility up onto the cart, and they kind of clamor. Who's driving the cart?
Is anybody good with animals? Like,
I don't think it's handle animal anymore. What is it?
is it not
There's no handle animal skill.
survival?
Diplomacy.
You command your animal using nature.
Oh.
Nature.
Shouldn't be me. I'm not even trained.
Nope.
Oh no.
maybe They Who Flourish wants to drive.
They just look at you incredulous. No.
Okay. Well, let's try. Maybe we'll get better at it as we go. I'll drive.
Okay. So, Danny, you're sitting up front. They Who Flourish ends up sitting next to you. There's enough space for 3 people. Um, is there somebody else?
Especially 3 small people.
Yes. Is somebody else gonna sit up front?
Sure.
With the 2 of them. Okay. And Azalea, you get to brood in the cart.
That's what I'm supposed to do.
Yep.
Maybe I'll even take a nap. Who knows?
We won't know the difference. It'll be
Yeah,
fine.
that's right. You guys begin your travels to the north.
You know, it might be faster if like I'm up at night and you guys can like rest. So I'll just like take naps during the day, curled up in my nice little cloak.
Okay.
Then at night we can. Oh, I guess the animals have to rest. Fair enough.
Okay.
I'll just be doing something in the. It's fine. I'll entertain myself.
So you guys begin to travel along the road to the north. The old Imperial Highway it was built to last, and it continues to persist, even if the old empire that once built it no longer exists. And you travel. It's a beautiful day out. It's a bit chill, and there's a wind out of the north. But you're all able to keep warm well enough. And you guys travel most of the day without any particular issue. There are animals in the grass, in the wild wheat. There are runs of dry riverbeds that kind of pass through here, maybe seasonal. And you see herds of animals out in the far distance, like longhorn, antelope, and you see probably appears to be maybe bison of some sort or oryx. And there's some other things in the grass that maybe you don't always get a chance to see before they kind of run away from the cart or the road. I need Azalea to roll a percentile die, please.
Okay. Seems like a bad idea. What's the 00 mean?
Oh, it's just 0. It's like you're in the 10 or the 1 through 9
Yes. Yep.
right now, or 1 through 10 really. No, 1 through 9.
1 through 9.
1 through 9. All right, and then we'll just do the.
And if you roll another 0, that's 100.
Yes.
No, I got 3.
Okay.
So 3.
Tree.
Yeah.
And so as you guys are traveling, you actually see another cart headed south. It's a much smaller cart, pulled by a donkey. There's a kind of a lone guy with a big straw hat on. You can see he's kind of got a twig of wheat sticking out of his mouth, and he's just kind of chewing on it. But he kind of waves at you from a distance as you guys are kind of approaching one another. You can see he's like a definitely worn from weather. He's been outside most of his life. Clearly a farmer. It looks like he's got big sacks of maybe grain or something on the back of his cart, and his huge sacks of grain. And he kind of like waves for you to stop as you kind of get closer. Do you guys want to stop?
Yeah, let's stop.
Okay, and I'll kind of.
We're
Yeah, I'll
still we're still in Umbaria.
It's about like a midday maybe. It is. Hello there. I'm just on my way south to Sereno. How far is it? It's about midday right now. You guys left in the early morning.
You should get there by dark.
Oh, excellent. Good. The whole wind and well, I haven't been down this way in some time. I'm really glad to hear it. Hey, just be careful, all right? The roads are not what they used to be. The old Imperial Guard is wandering around. Apparently, I haven't seen them, but I just keep that in mind.
What does that mean?
You can choose to roll either a society check or an occultism check.
I was just gonna ask the person.
Oh, okay, sure. He's just gonna tell you then. Oh, you must be not from around here. You are a strange bunch. But yeah, the old Imperial Guard. When the whole Civil War happened, 100 years ago. Well, stories say that the head of the Imperial Guard, actually, one of your kind, pointing to you, Cyra. Well, he and his guard, they all, well, killed themselves back in the day, when the war was over, and now they're just kind of wandering the countryside as zombies. So, I would,
Basra?
yes, that's the name. Yes, I would keep your eye out.
Zombies?
Yes. Oh, clearly you're not from around here. Yes, absolutely. The undead shuffling about. I've only heard tales. I haven't seen anything. I'm just telling you. There's more stories of that up north. As I'm going south, I just wanted to warn you because you're going that way.
I appreciate it. Wild. Wild. Okay, we are gonna do our best to stay away from them.
Is there any other? Have you had any dangers on the way from Sereno, or it's been?
Nah, just seen some cool animals.
Oh, excellent. Very well.
Just the grass eating kind.
Yeah, yes, that's excellent. Okay. Well, I just wanted to, say hello and give warning and see how far I am.
Thank you.
Like I said, it's been some time since I've been that far. So, ciao. And he just kind
Safe travels.
of heads on by and he heads out.
Fuck.
Are you saying that to me or to the other?
No.
Okay.
To Danny and Big
Okay.
Flourish. The fuck? Shuffling zombies? This is stupid.
And Theo Flarsh says, "Oh yes. Well, what he says is, well, that was correct.
Oh, I believe it. I just hate it.
Well, yes, that's this is why you're here. Or why I'm with you, I suppose. I'd rather not be caught unawares and by myself. It's troubling
Perfectly
times
reasonable.
enough as it is. But yes. Well, let's keep going. I suppose
Off
we're
we
almost
go.
there. So
Off we go.
yeah, by the time the sun starts to set, you guys make it to the village of Sterone. Sterone is more of a hamlet than a village, really, and it's built along the old Imperial Highway. And that old road that you're on predates this group of homesteads by some hundreds of years, probably. And as you kind of approach this hamlet, you see the roadside inn, the only imaginatively named tavern in the entire little hamlet here. It's on the western side of the road. Based on what you can see, there's probably only 100 people who live here, maybe. Mostly farmers. There's not even a general store, as far as you can tell. Probably, like that, other folk heading south to go sell or buy goods, whatever they need, or waiting for other merchants. And yeah, it's getting on toward evening as you kind of trundle into the village. And yeah, the wind is chill, but you see stands of tall, ripe wheat, and you can see people out in the fields, like harvesting, and there's people wave at you.
I went back.
The inn is kind of a two-story construction, and as the wind begins to pick up, you can see a swarthy dwarven man, his braided black hair whipping around in the wind. Even his braids and his beard are whipping around. He's
It's a
trying.
bad deal.
It looks like he's trying to fix a shutter on his inn. There's a couple of like trees sprinkled around the village, but for the most part, there's like small stands that will eventually probably get bigger. And you see one really big tree kind of down the road on its own. But yeah, that's it's really kind of what you see. It's getting on towards late afternoon time frame.
Well, do we think there's anything, any towns, other towns before night? We could stay here.
You guys
Does
can
anyone
roll
any-
a society check if you want
Ho ho.
to try to figure out if you recognize anything else from maps or anything.
16. Oh, that's not as bad as I thought it was.
Based on maps that you'd seen and things that you'd heard, there's one more village at the border of Ambaria and Shrithaptisa, probably a day or so away. A little place
From Sereno or from where we are?
from where you are.
Oh, okay.
A place called San Titano. San Titano is probably you'll get there if you leave here in the morning, probably tomorrow night.
Sounds like we should stay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Go to the roadside inn.
yes, and the dwarf that's trying to fix things, he realizes he's got like a hammer and some nails, and he looks kind of exasperated as you kind of pull up. And it's not so much of a beard, actually. It's more of like a goatee. It's just like stuff that's on his person that's kind of flying around. And it's like his goatee is all kind of burnt, burnt at the edges and stuff like that. He's got like a simple leather, like a jerkin on. He's got very baggy pants. And you realize, again, as you get closer, his braid, you can see it whipping around, but like he's got a braid, but like the top of his head is bald. Um, and he's very swarthy and very clearly been around a lot of fires. Maybe he just takes a hammer and he's got his big ass nail and he just like holds it. And he just fucking bam, bam, bam. He's sick of repairing it. He's just gonna nail it shut.
I'm gonna use Mage Hand to help him if I can.
You're not even sure if he notices, but yeah, you press it up against the wall and he hits it and he nails it and he lets go for a second, looks at
I'm
it,
also gonna release Mage Hand just in case.
and it looks like it's okay, and he just kind of, all right, and he turns his, oh, good afternoon. It is good to see you. Welcome to our little town of Stornay. The roadside inn, please. It's a little windy, as you can tell. Oh, you have carts and horses. Well, we have stables at back if you wish to stay here for the evening. We have plenty of good food, reasonable prices. Would we like to stay here? It'll be 2 copper pieces a night.
Sounds good.
That's cheap.
Okay.
Yes, of course. Here, let me help you. And over the course of the next 15-20 minutes, he kind of helps you stable the animals and get them fed and watered and get the cart secured so it doesn't freaking blow away. He's got a chain, and he takes like a chain and he runs the chain through the rear 2 wheels, and he like stakes them down into the ground, and he runs another chain through the front 2 and stakes it, and he just kind of leaves the middle ones. He says, that should do it. Hopefully it doesn't blow away or blow over or anything like that. The animals should be fine for the evening, but please, come on in, take a rest, eat some food. I'm serving roast pig tonight. And so as you kind of enter the roadside inn, the man introduces himself, the dwarven man. He says, "Oh, I am Gordon. Call me Gordon, please. It is very nice to meet all of you. I understand that you are travelers because you are in a cart and you are traveling. That is how travelers work. Yes, 2 copper pieces a night, and you will have the finest beds in all of Stornay to stay the evening. Now, I just ask that you don't start any drunken brawls, and please don't go at that tonight. There's the rumors of the old Imperial Guard coming through, and we don't want anybody to get hurt. So, yes, I will feed you, and I will water you, or give you ale, as it were, whatever you want to do. Yes, please, take your time. Stay down here in the main dining room as long as you like, or go upstairs and go to sleep, whatever you wish. I am afraid that there are no stores, there's no merchants in town. You are the first people in town today. So,
First people to stop or the first people to pass through?
yes, yes.
We
Well,
pass them.
the old Marco
Oh.
went south, but he lives here. He lives on the farm on the northwest side of the village.
Oh,
As he left for town, he was selling some wheat, I think.
yes,
Um,
yes.
You know, he had a bit
I
extra.
think maybe I saw a ghost.
Oh, well, if there are any ghosts, and you see any ghosts, there aren't any ghosts. He just kind of like...
What?
Yeah, there are no ghosts. Just you don't see any ghosts. There are no ghosts. He goes back to the kitchen and he begins cooking. And is there anything you guys wanted to do before you went to bed?
Eat.
Yeah.
Fair. Danny?
Now I'm
Is there-
afraid of ghosts. Thanks, man.
Is there like a darkened back porch, or is this in the middle of a city? Or are we on the edge of the?
No,
not a village,
you're in the
but
middle
hamlet?
of a hamlet. There's like, yeah, there's a little bit of a back porch, but I mean, it's the wind is getting pretty gnarly.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll just stay inside.
There's not really anybody else in here until you start eating, and then the other townsfolk start to kind of wander in. Just normal looking folks, nobody that stands out in particular. But yeah, you guys eat and end up heading to bed, and that's where we're gonna end it for today.
Dorine? How do you spell that?
Storone. Storone. Storone.
I was not as far off as I have been on other occasions.
There you go. And then San Titano is the next village.